Took my family away from my Carolina home, had dreams about the West and started to roam. 6 long months on a dust-covered trail. They say heaven's at the end, but so far it's been hell. And there's fire on the mountain, lightning in the air, gold in them hills, and it's waiting for me there. We were digging and shifting 5 to 5, selling everything we found just to stay alive. Gold flowed free like the whiskey in the bars. Sinning was the big thing, Lord, and Satan was a star. And there's fire on the mountain, lightning in the air, gold in them hills, and it's waiting for me there. Dance hall girls were the evening treat, empty cartridges and blood lined the streets. Men were shot down for the sake of having fun, or just to hear the noise of their 44 guns. And there's fire on the mountain, lightning in the air, gold in them hills, and it's waiting for me there. Now my widow, she weeps by my grave, tears flow free for her man she couldn't save. Shot down in cold blood by a gun that carried fame, all for the useless and no good, worthless claim. And there's fire on the mountain, lightning in the air, gold in them hills, and it's waiting for me there. And there's fire on the mountain, lightning in the air, gold in them hills, and it's waiting for me there. Waiting for me there.
Hey, YouTubers and friends, how you doing out there? It's great to have you here. Happy New Year's, everybody. I hope you had a great time on New Year's Eve, New Year's Day. I did. I was at home in my PJs all flipping weekend. Had a great time. Uh, Tonight we have Jaron, not Jaron, the world's greatest moderator, Jaron from Washington, and James from Montana, the co-hosts of Digging Deeper podcast over on their Facebook group, Prospecting Buddies. I'm a member over there, and their link to their YouTube channels down in the description. We'll be putting it in chat here and there. But I'm looking forward to this. It's going to be nice talking a bit about back home. Even though Jaron's from the dry side of the state, I lived in the wet side, but whatever. But don't go away. We're going to head over to the other set, get this party started. Hey, YouTubers and friends, thanks for joining us for another episode of Tuesday Night Hangout Live with ToledoJess, Dano, the Treasure Vixens, and I. And I forgot my damn subscribe button thingy. Hate it when I do that. Hate it when I do that, guys. No, I didn't mute you. I had a thing visible that I didn't want visible yet. Damn technologies for this old goat. How are all of you? How was your New Year's? It's easy to survive out when you do what I did. Excellent, excellent. How was your time last week with your daughter, Rose? It's okay. Family first, you know. Flash fam second. We understand. Don't be sorry. Yeah. Oh, they can't hear
Yeah.
you. Oh, sorry, Jaron. I had the desktop muted.
All good. All good, brother.
Well, beep, 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 beep.
Oh, look at this. What's up, GPU? They're all saying hi to us. What's up, Eminem? Mike and Melissa. Rain
Now you should
Peterson.
be able to bill
Let's
hang loose
see.
prospecting. Shaka, bruh.
Hang loose prospecting and adventures. What's up?
Jersey
Casey
Ray, Mike and
Bosmore.
Melissa. Yeah, squirrel moment. Hey, it
Yep.
happens. You know me, Mike.
Hey, dude. What's up, Rachel?
Nugget Brain Wayne Peterson. How you
Of
doing,
course, the world's
JP?
greatest moderator, Mr. Lodak. Jaron, what's up? Yeah,
What's going on, everybody? How we doing this evening?
we're all doing good, it looks like.
Good deal.
That's the cat.
Looks like we got quite a few people on here this evening for the broadcast. I am happy to be here, and I appreciate you guys.
We're happy to have you here, man.
Happy to be here for sure.
We always love to talk to other prospectors that prospect in other areas of the country because the way they prospect is different than what we do. You know,
Right.
it's always cool to learn about different areas. And one day maybe we'll get somebody from. Well, we've had people from Australia on here, so that was cool.
Yeah.
You know,
That's
I've been
awesome.
Several. Tasmania, Australia.
It's
Yeah,
fun talking.
Scotland.
And not just gold prospecting, though I love gold prospecting. That's my one thing, right? That's my main thing. But
Oh, yeah.
metal detecting and even magnet fishing is enjoyable and fun. Our resident magnet fisher here, Rose.
It's
got
funny, guys.
You
It
got us all
started.
hooked into that.
It started as prospecting, but
Right.
there's so many other forms of treasure hunting we like,
Right.
and we're like one big hand. You got that's like treasure hunting hands.
Oh,
Prospectors,
yeah.
magnet
Yeah.
fishers,
Oh yeah.
detectorists, bottle
We like
diggers,
the hunt and the adventure.
arrowhead.
That's the
Treasure.
biggest
right,
thing.
yeah.
Treasure.
It's the
It's
hunt and
I
the
love it
adventure.
when my detector finds something that tells me I'm at somebody else's old mine.
Yep. Hey,
Yeah,
what's up,
I got a funny story about magnet fishing, actually, believe it or not. My older brother, he's with a group here based out of Spokane called H2O Magnets. And, what they do is actually, it's beyond phenomenal work. They do a bunch of giveaways, and they do Christmas giveaway for kiddos to get into magnet fishing and all that. But I had picked up a kit from my brother, and he said, yeah, man, go over to the Spokane River, and throw it in there and see what you can come up with. Well, I got the damn thing stuck. and I didn't know what to do, so I tied it to the bridge, and I called up my brother, and I said, hey, man, I just got this magnet stuck. How do I get it off? And so he ended up driving out, and we spent probably almost 2 hours trying to get this magnet off of whatever it was on. But yeah, they do great work over here. They, I'm sure you guys have heard of the lime scooters. People like to throw those over for whatever reason. And don't quote me on it, but I think they pulled well over 37 or 38 lime scooters out of the Spokane River. And they've really cleaned up the river enough to where the county actually gave them a grant to really clean up the Spokane River. And so magnet fishing, it's not for me specifically. I tried my hand and I failed miserably, but it's definitely a lot of fun, that's for sure.
Wrong bridge.
Yeah, that's for sure.
I mean, from what Rose and Angela talk about, I mean, they travel from bridge to bridge to bridge before they find something that's worth even videoing.
Yeah.
So
that's the thing. I didn't know any better. I opened the Pelican case up, pulled it out, and I was all giddy to get my first piece of metal out of the river and got it stuck. And
yeah, that's
That sounds like you. That just so sounds like you, man.
Yeah,
I mean, come on.
it is. That's my luck, man. Luck of the Irish. That's what it is.
It usually comes with the
Michael's-
territory, though. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
if you're not getting your magnet stuck, you're not magnet fishing. So
Yeah, right. No,
is that-
Mountaineer
What?
Michael
It's
said
never been
Spokane
stuck?
River. Yeah, Spokane River. Yeah, no, yeah, it's the Spokane River. I saw a couple of comments here on the YouTube page, Spokane River. Yeah, the amount of stuff that's in that river is insane. But the last like 3-4 years, the amount of stuff that the guy's name is Paul with H2O Magnets. And yeah, they've really cleaned up the river. It's absolutely insane the amount of work that they put into it. And they got teams that go out and like I said, it's an amazing thing that they do. It's a little too tough for me to do it. I mean, I'll stick to my prospecting and my high banking and let the guys, the professionals, do the magnet fishing.
sometimes when it comes to
Go ahead, Rose.
when it comes to trying these new hobbies or expanding your hobbies, sometimes it gets a little overwhelming, and sometimes it is nice to just pull yourself back into 1, 2, or 3 and just focus on them for a little bit versus, I gotta try everything.
No, seriously, that's you hit that right on the nail. When I first started prospecting, this was only about, I want to say like 4 or 5 years ago. I got frustrated because I would go out and I wouldn't get nothing, but so I tried my hand at many different things. I've always been outdoors. I like fishing and camping and all the stuff that's outdoorsy, but I tried my hand metal detecting and I just got frustrated. And then I, switched over to this and switched over to this. And once I started meeting new people that, they go out and do this every single weekend, it was a game changer. They're like, hey, you're doing this wrong. You're doing that wrong. You're doing this wrong.
And that's one of the reasons why, when new people ask, how do you get started? My go-to advice is join a local club.
Yeah.
Be around those people that do that. Learn from them. Hey, spend $100 or whatever the club costs for a year, and get as much knowledge as you can. And that's cheap education. Think about it,
Yep.
So yeah,
well, and you meet awesome people too in the process. You meet people, left and right that you're going to have a friendship for a very long time. So not only is not only are you gaining knowledge by joining a group, but you're also meeting some really down to earth people. So it's really a win-win situation.
You're like-minded people at that point because you're all thinking the same thing, and you realize that you all not only are thinking of the same thing, but you think the same things, so that makes it easier. And, so yeah, definitely. That's why I say join a club, learn, meet people, they're going to teach you. There'll be people in clubs that'll befriend you and teach you all they know, just because that's the way we are. I mean, think about it.
Sure.
Look, right. Look at this motley crew here. Ed, Dano, and I, since we've gotten together every year that they have gold rush or gold shows in the area, we go to them and we're in the painting booth demonstrating how to paint for gold.
And I love it, and
I love it.
I leave with gold in my snuffer vial.
Yeah, that too.
Snuffer bottle.
No. We pay ourselves. But yeah, things like that.
Yeah.
And we also do, Boy Scouts and Club Scouts when we can, and teaching people every opportunity we get. It's just like it's just part of what we are,
Right.
It's cool.
And in this day and age, me and James have said it on a couple of our podcasts. This day and age, the more knowledge that you can give out there, especially with everything that's going on in the world right now, the more knowledge and positivity you can spread to as many people as possible. I mean, they then, make a trip for the weekend with their family and they go out and they, do this metal detect or magnet fish or whatever, and so now they're making memories off of the knowledge that you pass to them and so on and so forth. So, I mean, it's an awesome thing to be able to give out as much knowledge as possible. I mean, at the end of the day, the more people that are out and about and not stuck indoors, the better, right?
Yes.
Yep.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Absolutely.
For
Get
sure.
out from in front of that TV.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Put fear in you.
Quit watching the gold shows and go do it. That's
Right.
Yeah, right. Stop. It's hard to say this to a bunch of YouTubers, but put the camera down and do what you're supposed to be doing. But in reality, because you can't do both so well that because how long it takes to set up, for shots, for scenes, for whatever, for your day. It's a pain.
Well, and that's the thing
too.
You're right. And that's the thing, that I've started to learn when I first started PB. It's just been a wild roller coaster ride, extreme wild roller coaster ride, man. I mean, it went from a few guys to, this amount and then this, and then, our giveaways and, this.
Talk about an explosion.
It's been a wild ride. We've met some of the most down-to-earth people, like James, for instance. I had bought an Hankoop HB14 high banker, which is a dual
Is that
dual
yours,
level.
Dano?
What's that?
The Hankoop? Sorry, James or Jaron.
Yeah, I've got a Hankoop.
Yeah, so so I ended up buying a Han Coop HB14, which is the dual layer high banker, and I had bought it from an old timer that used to use it on the Yuba, and so I thought, I'll give it a shot, see what happens. I wasn't too familiar with it. I didn't know how to set it up. I mean, at that point in time, I was an extreme amateur trying to figure out how this thing works, right?
Buying equipment that you weren't ready for.
I was not ready for it at all.
Oh yeah, we've all gone through that.
Yeah, but I had bought it, and I'm looking at this thing in my garage, and I'm like, how the heck am I going to get this thing running? And so I started it was a rough kind of entry into starting PB, but I had reached out to a few people, and James was one of them. And I said, hey, James, how would you like to come pick up this Han Coop and, use it over in Montana? Because I have no clue what I'm doing with this thing. And so that was the start to our friendship. He drove all the way over here, picked up the Han Coop, and a couple weeks later, he invited me over there. He had it all set up and cleaned out. And, this thing was looking like off the showroom floor compared to when I had it. I mean, it just looked like a complete disaster.
Yeah, I refabbed the whole thing. So,
and, at the time, I hadn't had any of my own equipment, just pans and, this really crappy river sluice I had. So, I went back home and Casey Lawson, shout out, buddy. I reached out to him and I said, hey man, I see you're starting to do river sluices. Go ahead and build me something if you can. And so we talked back and forth. And he said, well, I'll tell you what, I'll build you a high banker. And so I thought about it. I'm like, well, I had problems with the first Han Coop. I don't know how the heck this next high banker is going to go for me, So, so we talked back and forth for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks, and designed it a specific way, designed it a little taller because I'm 6'4", designed it to my liking, so to speak, and he had, and he sent it to me, his first high banker ever built, and then James said, hey, come on out with that beast. So I went out there and. Of course, I was having troubles trying to figure out how to hook this thing up. It was just a complete nightmare trying to figure out. Trying to
come on, man. Who was there for you?
So James, and then what's funny is I had ran high bankers down in Durkee, Oregon for the LDMA push dig. And so I knew how to run a high banker. I just didn't 100% know what type of motor, this, that, and the other, and where you can run it, where you can't run it with gas-powered equipment.
The fine details.
Back to Durkee for a second. Which camp, Burnt River or Blue Bucket?
So I had the opportunity to go down to Burnt River. I wish I had the opportunity to go down to Blue Bucket. The husband and wife over there, they're phenomenal people. I really wish I had the chance to, but, I had planned out 3 days to take off, like a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. It was like a 5.5 hour drive. It was insane. But I went down there and had a lot of fun, met a lot of old timers, good guys. And so I kind of had a gist of how to run high banker and how to run specific equipment, trommel, so on and so forth. But when Casey sent me that high banker, I had to now figure out the diameter of the holes on the spray bar. I had to figure out the horsepower on a specific pump that I was going to use. A lot of different things. But with PB, a lot of guys reached out to me, like we were talking earlier with the whole sharing knowledge thing. A lot of folks reached out to me and was like, hey, this is what you need. This is what you don't need. And so within a matter of 7 or 8 months, I had this thing dialed into a T, and we were going over to James's claim and getting good gold. We were having a lot of fun, and so PB has helped a lot with the whole sharing knowledge thing. Because like I said, I was dead in the water. I could have had any high banker in the world, but that doesn't mean I knew how to use it or the type of equipment, I needed to get it running right, So The whole sharing knowledge thing, that's what we do over at PB. Is we can't stress that enough. The more knowledge you give to folks that want to, switch from high banking to dredging, or whatever they want to do, we have someone in the group to be able to pass that knowledge along. So it's been awesome so far.
So
Excellent.
like with our channel, and like with our channel, the YouTube has also expanded. Not only do we belong to our local club, but because of YouTube, we're like members in all these different clubs throughout the country and the world. You join their Facebook pages, you hook up with them on YouTube, and you have them on your shows, and you talk with them, and they talk with your friends, and it just becomes one huge family. So once you get into that first club, Gold Prospectors, then it gets bigger. And it's gotten, when we started the show, we decided that we were going to not just be gold, because we're in essence treasure hunters. We all love to look for different treasures. We all look at rocks, we all look for arrowheads. Well, let me rephrase that. Most of us do, and we find that stuff because we're out there.
I don't know of one prospector that don't bring
either,
home
but I don't wanna-
rocks with them.
I don't want to be fact checked and find out.
I do fact checker. Not all prospectors
tell you what.
bring home rocks.
I bring more rocks home than I do gold sometimes, and I'm perfectly okay with that. My
I'm
wife,
Perfectly fine with that.
my
I
wife-
got a really cool collection
yeah.
of devil's dice.
yeah.
I challenge anyone to beat my collection of devil's
I bring quartz, I bring river rock, I bring,
Oh
I
yeah.
have
yeah.
rock gardens.
One
No,
more
we-
pan
that's-
says he had to let a few rocks go today. He must have had way too many.
Yeah.
Rocks are like squirrels,
so-
Mike.
So, so our channel, that's why when you see the hand that Ed talks about, there's just so many different treasures out there to look for, Oh, I'd love to dive on a sunken ship. I'd love to go dig a buried treasure somewhere. Who wouldn't, right?
Hey, I have my metal detector, and I do take trips just so I can try to find plumber's lost gold. All right, so
There you go.
there's more gold than just dust or nuggets or ore. There's those old gold coins and those
absolutely.
stashes because nobody had a safe place to hide it. It's still out
Right.
there.
Hey,
A
Out
hollow
in a
tree or
mason
a
jar.
leather pouch buried in a little cave. I mean, it's out there. Whatever.
right. Because if you think about gold, if you find a nice little nugget in a creek, there's more. So if people have been finding this treasure or that treasure here or there, there's more out there.
Oh yeah.
So you got to keep looking.
Yeah.
That's fun.
No, I got a funny story with a good buddy of mine, Adam. Bless your heart, buddy. With metal detecting. Oh my goodness gracious. We were over on James's claim, and he had brought, what does he have, a gold bug? Is that what he got, James?
No, he has a Garrett AT gold.
Okay, so Garrett AT, yeah. So we're out there and we got both of our high bankers lined up. We're running dirt and whatnot, and we decide to do a cleanup, and all we hear is for like 45 minutes to an hour. And I'm like, Adam sure is having fun over there, isn't he? And we look over and Adam's just going to town with the metal detector for like 2-3 hours on the bank of the on Libby Creek there. And
to give him credit, he found me a spot that I later took advantage of with the dredge.
I need to get him a pair of headphones for
That rock
Christmas.
seam open, pulled it loose, and we dredged right into it. And so
I need to get him a pair of headphones for Christmas. Next time we go out there, a pair of headphones would probably be nice. No,
Was it find any gold, or was it just all hot rocks?
hot rocks.
Hot rocks.
If I remember right. Yep.
Lot
No,
of hot rods.
Adam's learning just like a lot of us, with how to metal detect and stuff like that. That's one of the things that I really want to get into, is metal detecting, because there's such an art form to it. It's not just you turn the thing on and you go to town. I mean, at the end of the day, it really truly is kind of like a skill. You got to hear the certain sounds and the higher pitch or lower pitch, and that really intrigues me because I've seen a lot of people in the PB group with their metal detectors finding nice big chunks of gold, and they were only out there for a couple hours. And I'm not saying it's going to happen to every single one of us, but it's the fact of learning how to look for those sounds and going out there and doing it is what intrigues me the most.
Even with that, there's even more learning before that. I mean, when we went to California, the three of us were out there. Had we not been with Two Toes, we wouldn't have found the gold we found. But and that's because he knows how to read the creek. I don't know if you know Two Toes is. I'm sure you do.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, that's the kind of things. It's more than just learning the equipment. It's learning where you're at, how to take advantage of what is in front of you, as opposed to just going and digging. That's why I was saying earlier, it's nice to get people from other parts of the country and hear about the way they prospect and what they do to go about it, what they look for, because it's all different.
Oh yeah. And that's the thing. The material is so much more different than what I or you are used to. For instance, the whole Montana situation, black sands for me was something that I was able to pan out pretty, I guess you could say decently easy. When I went over to Montana, it was a nightmare.
Man!
All six of them, all six of them looked at me and said, "You're panning this out," and I'm like, at first I was super excited. I was privileged, right? But 45 minutes later, I didn't feel so privileged anymore.
A ton of black sands, and you have a lot of magnetite, which makes it even harder.
Yeah, it was tough. You have devil's dice, you got black sand. I mean, and that's the thing, like you were saying, the material in different areas is so much more different. We got a couple of guys up in Canada that we sent a Thanksgiving pay dirt bag, a PB Thanksgiving pay dirt bag, and a few other bags to a couple of guys over there. And they're like, whoa, this stuff is so much different. And I guess they're just used to whatever, they pan. We had one guy that had the caribou pay dirt. James, what was his name again? Really cool guy up there. I forgot what his name was.
Thanks,
I can't.
man. Thanks for making me look like
I can't think of
find it.
So he has. James, you're my go-to, bro. What are you doing here,
I'm
buddy?
looking for it, but the phone won't let me out.
We'll give him a couple of minutes to look for it.
Sebastian says Shane.
Shane Wright, thank you. Canadian Gold Mining, Mr. Shane. Yes.
Thank you, Canadian Gold
Thank
Mining.
you, Sebastian.
What's up, Thomas, folks? I saw Otis was in here earlier. And
yeah, Otis is here. Bill Marsh, Terry Curry.
Right. And I'm sure David Villa showed up, right? I guess Ert showed up late, huh?
Yeah, he was late.
Yeah, he was like 26 minutes late. How dare he?
And then, I'm sure we'll do a shout out to Two Toes and Jeff, because they're probably lurking in the background.
No, well, I don't think it's baseball season now, so Jeff could be very well watching. But Two Toes is probably busy in his gold room listening. But
yeah,
Todd's didn't lurk earlier. Our buddy Top Cat's here.
Look, we got our buddy.
We got Mr. MVP, Mr. Joe Brickner in the house. He says, James didn't see you. Nice, both the West Coast PBs.
We know Joe. God, we like the guy, but he tells too many people there's gold in Ohio.
I knew that was coming. I knew that was coming.
Yeah,
Oh.
Jericho and Hercules was number uno. He beat out Willie the Tin Man
Yeah, Miner
in
Mike,
our chat.
Michael, how you doing?
Heavy Meadow.
This outdoor Wally's in the house.
Oh yeah, you know, JP
You don't
Lawns and more. He was in
spread
here earlier.
everything, Joe. There's a reason why we mention stuff like No Tell'em Creek. You know, usually when we
gold.
say
How are
the
you?
gold's really
Sasquatch
good
lives
that
up there.
way,
Yeah, look.
and we walk that way, there's a reason.
Gold Painter, how are you tonight?
You know, we like effing with you, Joe.
Now we had Joe on the podcast. Great guy.
Yeah,
No,
Joe's
he's
great
gun
for a
ho.
while.
I
I
know
hope
he's fairly a greenhorn. He's
I hope
not
he's
quite
doing
a
well. Joe looks
sourdough,
pretty beat up.
but he's hungry.
He
Gold
is.
fever bit him bad, and he works his wazoo off. And that's
really
what it
does.
takes to get the gold. You know?
I tell you what, I can't wait to get into these dirt bags.
Yeah, yeah.
Here, pass that one.
Our friend Brian Wilder.
Here you go. We'll do that again.
Jesse has our Christmas gifts from Brian Wilder up at his house. We need to get together soon with him, Dano.
I'd like to go to Brian's.
Yeah. I'm gonna go prospecting with Brian again. Heck yeah.
Oh yeah, I had a fun time
Arizona,
with him
maybe,
up in Vermont. I'd like to
Yeah,
dredge
Arizona.
with him in Maine. Better
That's
yet,
good.
Chicken, Alaska.
Exactly.
My buddy, our buddy, JP Lawns and more, who is a large bearded man, wanted to tell you guys that you have nice beards.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, I see you put it in there.
It's a beard thing.
Appreciate it.
I was looking for
Appreciate
that
that.
earlier, Rose. I didn't see it in the Zoom chat. Thank you, sis.
No problem. I gotcha.
Yeah, JP's like ZZ Top. It's down to his belly button.
Last time mine was that long, it got lit on fire. So
No. That's scary when that happens, isn't it?
I don't know, we're getting ready for a wedding and had to burn up a bunch of bush, and I just got a little too close. Made the wife happy. I had to cut it way back, for the wedding.
Yeah, that's the same
Jaron,
thing
he
here.
cut his completely off.
I cut mine completely off, and then I did a podcast, and people are like, "Is that Jaron? Like, who the hell is that guy? Like, what's going
Well,
on?"
that
here?"
happens when Dano shaves. It's like, who's that guy?
Yep.
Oh,
Yep.
that's
I think
Dano.
most of the time we all think is, who is that baby face on that screen?
Yeah, I told the wife, I said, I'm never shaving it again. I shaved it for the wedding, and that's it. I will never shave this bad boy again. Never going to happen. That's for sure.
I'll shave the upper lip, but that's just because dredging season's coming on, man, and that mask has to squeal somewhere. A little bit of beeswax, mask on, go on down, hit the suck zone.
That's for sure. That is definitely for sure. Yeah, we have a road trip coming up end of June. Ed, I'm sure I told you about it. I don't remember if I did or not. But we're going to be going through, what is it, 5 states, James? 5 or 6?
Yeah, we're going to go from Montana, Northwest Washington, through Oregon, down into California to visit one Mr. Shannon Poe, the one and only, and hit the Screamer Mine. I'm really, that's just, yeah. And then however we come home. I don't know if we're coming home through Nevada and then up in through Idaho or what we're going to do.
Yeah, run through Nevada. We got a couple of guys over there. I want to stop and say hi. We got Nevada, and then we're going to go up to Twin Falls in Idaho. Check out Idaho City, rich mining history over in that area. Spend some time with Sergio and a few other guys over there, and then start heading north, come back home. It'll be a 9-day road trip. I don't know if I'm going to be able to withstand being with James for 9 days, but we'll see. Yeah.
We'll see how this goes, you know. We'll trip the travelers, you know. We'll straighten out the curves and we'll curve out the straights and everything will be just fine.
Jefferson State Gold says, hit me up when you go through Southern Oregon.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, I was going to say, Jaron, next time I'm back home, and I know I'm going to be there for an extended little time, you know, we'll try and make it out to the Blue Bucket and bring you down as my guest.
Yeah, I'd absolutely love it. That was one of the things on my bucket list, so to speak, that I really wanted to do. Biggest thing was we ran out of time. That originally was on the plan when we drove down to Durkee, but you know, with limited time, we did what we could, and I know Blue Bucket's actually not too far away from the
it's right off of 84.
Yeah.
Heading towards Idaho from Durkee.
Yeah.
Oh, Wayne Peterson says you have to go to Utah. There's lots and lots of gold over there.
While all the Utah guys are going. Fake news.
And then Jaron goes.
Work saying, I'm sorry, but this is my 2 weeks notice and I quit now.
Then Jaron goes. Jaron says Wayne Peterson fake news.
Of course, they're Utah guys.
No, the biggest thing is like we were talking about earlier, we're going to be doing live video on the PB YouTube channel, all the whole road trip from start to finish. It's basically putting a hand to a handshake, meeting a lot of the guys that you see on the screen, meeting up, you know, face to face, and you know, giving them a handshake and you know, spending time with them, see what, you know, they do in their neck of the woods. And the more people that we can meet and get together with, the better. You know, at the end of the day, like we were saying earlier, all of us was saying earlier, was sharing knowledge. I mean, some of these guys that, like Shannon from Amra, you know, the knowledge that he has is just priceless, you know. So being able to go and spend some time with him, spend some time with some of the guys that help with PB, Sergio, Arrow, Bremer, and then, you know, going and seeing Casey Lawson over there on the west side of Washington, going and spending some time with him. Rick Stash, really good guy. There's just so many amazing freaking people that we want to, you know, put a hand to a handshake with on this road trip. Hopefully we can make it work. We're going to see what happens. Like I said, me and James are going to be starting in Montana, going and seeing Robert Virgits over there with Snapshot Mine and Milling. And then going over to Western Washington with, let's see, Casey and Rick and a couple other really cool guys over there. Let's see here. We got Dwight. Yeah, Dwight over in Oregon. A few other guys over there in Oregon. You know, and then California, as we travel through California, there's going to be a lot of really great guys in the PB family that we're going to be able to meet up with and, you know, see what they're about and, you know, what they do and what equipment they use. So it should be a lot of fun. It should be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'm still trying to figure out how to hide my dredge in the back of his truck. Some kind of technology that I can't share yet, but you know, it's small and it's big again.
It's called a camper. Throw a camper, a cab on the.
There's a piece of equipment. There's a piece of equipment called a Gold Snare SGS 2, 2-inch submersible gold dredge. cool little piece of equipment.
Mhm.
Yeah, it is
Yeah.
really cool. Even the 12-volt SGS1 is good too.
Right.
They both
Oh
have
yeah,
their
there's
purpose.
the SGS1, which is battery operated. It's a nice little piece of equipment. Look it up.
My SGS2 is getting gold in the Dominican Republic though.
One of my, did I give her the one or the two?
You probably gave them the one. You still have your two.
Yeah, I still have the two. Well, I still have a one too.
Right.
Anyways, we were talking earlier that you have claims up in Montana, and I was up there last summer for the Green Mat their new shop opening. We stopped at your claim, but it was blocked off. What's going on there?
Okay, so a certain lumber company, I'm not going to get into the names of the company right now. It's kind of a long story. So let's take a step back into the previous fall. It would have been the fall 2000, fall 2020. I went up on Libby Creek to look around and just do some panning, and we got lucky, and we got into like, a few grams just panning in one day, and it kind of occurred to me that maybe I should check, the database and see if there's any claims available up here. And to get to where we were, you already crossed one claim, which is called the 50/50 placer. And then my claim that we decided to claim was right next to it. We called it Golden Back Acres, which, the pun intended, breaking your back. And then, so we did that. We filed all of our paperwork. We did everything correctly. Had our licenses to pump, to dredge, do the things we wanted to do. We were in testing ground in March of 2020. This is the year we just 21. And I believe it was March. So we're just testing some bank ground. The ground's still pretty frozen, but we're seeing great gold because it's at the bottom of this. Part of the claim is in the bottom of a super old tailings pile, goes back to like 1940, 39, something like that. So all the gold, that they didn't get, been falling through that tailings pile, then running across the bedrock, which they laid it on, right down the bank. So we were just right at the bottom of it, getting really good gold. And that was actually the first day we'd taken out the hong coop that Jaron had given me. We were just running deep VMAT on the bottom and some green ASR stuff on the top, whatever it was. And we were seeing really good gold. And a couple of guys came out of the woods, out of nowhere. I had my teenage daughter with me, my brother-in-law, and literally they scared me. I'll leave it at that. In Montana, that time of year, on any time of year, Jaron knows that, I'm carrying a sidearm. For people robbing me, bears, whatever's going on. It's lucky that things didn't get a different way, but they start yelling at us and telling us we can't be there, that this is a certain lumber company's ground. And I'm like, no, it's not. I got the paperwork. I can read a map. I actually will toot my own horn over how I can read a map. And this is my ground. I have listed it with the state. I've done the whole thing. I've been to the courthouse and I filed my notice. It was in the paper in case anybody had problems with it. When I did that, I noticed that when two lumber companies switched hands, they never did their file of notice, which that's a whole other thing. But so we get in this argument and they're like, no, this is our ground. I'm like, no, this is our ground. We finished out our day. I told them, hey, I'm not leaving. Well, we're going to go get a cop. I said, you go get your cop because I'm not leaving and I'm finishing my day. We finished our day. No police came. We moved out. We went home, which was like a 90-mile drive. I get a phone call from some people that I knew in Libby. And they said, we just went up to the access road to the three claims. And there's two huge trenches there now. Like, big trenches. I'm like, what? Just like some Kelly humps that they normally put when they do a road closure? And they're like, no. These things are like 9, 10 feet deep. Two of them back to back. So you got like 9-foot deep trench across the whole road, 15 yards past where the road edge ends, good 10 yards downhill for the road edge ends, 10 feet of flat road they didn't remove, and then 10 feet down again and another 8 feet wide and 2 big mounds at each end. I mean,
Wow.
the destruction was massive.
Tank trap.
To do anything like this legally, to legally do anything like this, you have to talk to the Forest Service, let them know, give them the notice of intent, all that kind of stuff, right? So it's not a process that you just go do.
No, isn't that, don't you also have to get hold of the
Conservation
Civil
district for
engineers?
one? Yeah. And the conservation district, because the first area, right when you turn off the road and you saw the parking area,
right?
that's Chinese camp. That's where the Chinese laundry was and everything. So it's all governed by 3 agencies in there. You have the Forest Service, you have the Conservation District, and then you got
DNR.
BNR, the water people.
Oh.
And so you got all 3 of them. So you got to file all your stuff with them for each thing you want to do. And of course, this lumber company did not do this. I called the lumber company after learning a few things that, you know, any road, when they changed the mining laws back in, I think it was what, 74, they started, they finished it in like 75. And in part of that law, Shannon Poe, he knows the code by heart. Can't remember it. But it states that if a road has been in place before 1975, you know, it's basically that word grandfathered in, you know, it has to remain open. So this lumber company has shut off access. Nobody can get in there. The first claim that you cross before you get to mine, he can't get into his claim. We couldn't get into Goldenback Acres anymore, but we did anyway. So we did it the hard way. So that's the next part of the story. We park at the bottom, and it's a good mile uphill in there. And we move in gold camp, like it's all there. A few tents, everything we need, it's all there. Things are running great for a few weeks, and I'm in there with one of my sons, and we're kind of getting things ready actually for Jared coming over for a visit. And I see a Forest Service truck parked at the mounds before we arrive, and I'm like, great, what's going on today? We walk up there, I walk around, I walk all the way to the dead end and back to my truck again, and I still don't see the guy. And he finally shows up. I just decided I need to sit here and wait, see what's going on. So he tells me that, you know, there's going to be legal action by this lumber company if you don't leave. And I'm like, what do you mean legal action? He's like, well, they are telling me that I am to arrest you for illegal trespass by crossing their ground to get to your gold ground. But I say to him, Bill, there they are. They're admitting that that's my gold ground, but there is no their ground there. It's on the other side of the river. That's part of the big problem is this lumber company doesn't have their survey right.
Aren't there laws in Idaho about easement? If it's been an easement for established easement, they can't take it away?
Well, in Idaho, I wouldn't know. We are in Montana.
Or I mean Montana.
Yes, in Montana, there are easements. And part of just the mining code, when it changed in 75, they said these roads must remain open.
Right.
And it's odd that this all started due to people starting to find gold past the first claim. Nobody been paying any attention, looking at the databases, seeing if this is claimable ground. I took the time. I went, wow, that's 20 acres. Let's do it. Let's go for it. And so then claim jumper issues, which was no really big deal. But going back to what happened there was the Forest Service officer, I tried to tell him the law that, you know, you can't block a claim owner off from their claim. We have a right to have access, reasonable access to our claims,
That's right.
which doesn't mean carrying thousands of pounds of gear up a hill and back down to get from there. And he said, well, that's neither here nor there. I see that you got your paperwork. You have until tonight to clean everything out. If I catch you back in there tomorrow or any other day, I'm going to arrest you. I'll hold you in the Libby County, the Mineral County, Lincoln County Jail until we can get you extradited up to Missoula, like 250 miles to the federal jail. So we busted butt, got all of our stuff out of there, and we took another claim right next to it. Right? I didn't give up my rights to the claim. I just said, okay, we're going to deal with this later. And in the meantime, they made the trench 30, 40 feet longer on each side going up a hillside because some of the locals were so mad. It's an area where people have been swimming and fishing, and they've been using it since the historical mining days, right? All these families up in Libby, they've been there forever. And now they're locked out too. You know, so it didn't just affect them. And then further up the road, there was like a dozen more claims that got plowed, dug up, couldn't get in, whatever way you want to look at it. But so we moved to a new spot. Jaron and I, we opened up a road. We got ourselves in there. And here's where things get really interesting. Is we're starting our dredging, everything's going really, really well. And then we got to the bottom and we're starting to get on gold. And this is how it all started on the claim with Goldenback Acres. Is as soon as we started getting into good gold, that's when they were getting upset. That's when they were sending in the Forest Service like Gestapo, like stormtroopers on us. And so,
well, if it's federal land of any kind, they don't have no real leg to stand on. If it's like Weyerhaeuser in Washington or something where they actually own the land.
And with some, you know,
that's the problem. That's the problem at the end of the day. That's the problem at the end of the day with what was going on over in Montana is because, you know, you got this big entity teaming up with this big entity against guys like me and James when we were out there doing our thing. And so, you know, we, of course, got a hold of a few different people and we talked about it and tried to figure out what was our best solution. At the end of the day, our money only goes so far. These two entities have unlimited amounts of money to be able to do whatever the hell they want, especially in Libya. Especially
here's the scary part about that. Here's the scary part about that. But first, before I say this, Frank's Golden Ventures, how are you doing tonight? He says hi.
Oh, Frank's here. What's up, Frank? How are you doing, brother?
Hey,
No, here's the real scary part about it. They know digging those trenches and blocking that road is against the law.
Mm-hmm.
They're willing to pay the fines.
Yep.
Because the fines are what? Let's say 50,000 per trench.
Yeah.
That don't mean nothing to them. So they'll
And that's if the city even bothers to give the fines. The city won't even bother.
Yeah, the county and the Forest Service won't even bother to place the fines.
Right. So,
Exactly.
so at that point, you're pretty much screwed. Other than they really don't have any legal rights to do that. And I'm sure that there'll be, if you were to push it, there'll be some good sized fines. At least they'd be good sized to us, but nothing to them, right?
Well, and that's the thing.
But
That's
they,
the thing
but they
is
count on the fact that you don't have the kind of money they have. So they're going to go ahead and chance it. Hopefully you don't take them to court. Hopefully they don't get in trouble and have to pay those fines, and that's how they deal with stuff like that. They don't care. They don't care about the families or the environment and that kind of stuff. That's not their concern. Their concern is keeping you out at whatever cost.
And that's the thing is that's another reason why we're going down to speak with Shannon and sit down with him and see what our options are, because
definitely a good guy to talk to.
Well, and that's the thing. It's one thing to talk with anybody on the phone, but it's another thing to sit down and say, hey, this is the plot of land. This is the situation. This is who's involved. and hopefully we can come to an agreement to get something going, going forward, but as everything good, it takes time. And James knows that. I know that. We all know it always takes time. So, if we tread lightly and we go and talk to him and say,
You
yeah,
have to
exactly.
you have to realize too that Shannon probably gets inundated on a daily basis.
Oh yeah.
Probably since it's getting worse everywhere.
Yeah, because it's getting worse. They're getting tighter and
I
tighter.
remember 30 years ago in Washington, and miners were being attacked, and there's a reason why rich gold districts are now in national parks, wildlife areas.
Yeah, refuges. Yep.
Refuges.
Designated wild forest land.
And the money that gets shoveled into the bureaucrats through, as Buzzard would call them, scissor bill environmentalists,
For sure.
they're trying to get us completely out of our public lands. And that's one reason why the work Shannon Poe does with AMRA is so important. There's also Western Mining Alliance out of Washington and several other groups too, that do a lot of work keeping our public lands open. But, look on the spectrum. I know Scott Paper up in Skagit Valley, when Crown Pacific owned the Scott Paper land behind my house, I could go to their office, I'd get a permit for a month, I could get any combination I wanted to any gate. And of course, they change the combinations monthly, but I got a free permit. Since Janicki took over the property, they won't allow a motor vehicle unless you own property back past their mainline gate.
And this is what happened with our claim in Libby was Weyerhaeuser had it, and Weyerhaeuser changed hands. They're still in Weyerhaeuser's still in Montana, but they gave it to the big Portland company. Right. As soon as the big Portland company took over, boom, it was locking everybody out, left, right, and center. They're not even looking at the map. It took me a long time. I got lucky. I feel very lucky that I decided to look through my dad's old maps, because I looked online everywhere I could. I'm really good with research, and I could not find a map of the area predating 75 until I went through an old drawer. So there I have the proof that the road existed.
Right.
I would really like this to not have to be a court issue. Just give me, give Wayne.
That's gonna cost you, having to take him to court. Even if you win, it still costs you.
Just pile in the holes, man. Pack it back down. Let's be real and open it up, and we can have our good day.
But a lot of it is people going up and throwing garbage on properties too, and
that's another one.
I have a rant that's 10 years old where I'm on Weyerhaeuser land, and in Washington, it's by Canyon Creek. I'm off of Canyon Creek, down east of Woodland, and nothing against hippies, hippie. I know you're not that type at all. But this hippie camp was the filthiest, dirty camp I've ever seen. I picked out diapers out of the fire hearth. I broken aluminum chairs, and I had bags and bags of trash. I would then I'd stop at the Forest Service office and say, "Can I dump this trash I picked out of our forest in your dumpster?" And they got to know me because every time I went, I bring back multiple bags of trash and I dump it in their dumpster.
Yeah, we did the same thing when we first got that going back acres claim. There was a person that had been squatting on it for the whole summer before, and he didn't take one latrine. Well, every time he went to the bathroom, I won't get gross, but it was all over the place. And we went through it, and we picked up his toilet paper, and we cleaned up human feces. And, you know, people are disgusting. It's amazing.
Even when I went over there,
they'll do.
yeah, even
know?
when I went over there, the amount of trash that we had to take out of those Kelly humps to rebuild the road somewhat to even get over to your claim, the amount of trash was just insane, man. I mean, someone was literally driving up there, going out their way to dump, you know, probably weekly. I mean, the amount of trash that was in there was nuts.
Oh yeah, it
really
gets
amazing
crazy.
too is you see that everywhere. Go out in the woods somewhere. Right, Rose?
Yeah, our channel's
Oh,
based
yeah.
off of finding those dump sites, man. Like we don't find anything. It's all dump sites. It's
Right.
everywhere.
Our friend Jason AU Colorado, 3 reasons they want us out. We destroy the earth by mining. Not if you reclaim it property. And the way we placer mine is very eco-friendly. But from their eyes, because they misinformation with our mining all the time. We leave
We destroy
trash
the earth by
everywhere and they don't
Yeah.
want us to be rich. That's more like it. They don't want us to glean off the land.
The only reason that his statement, the only way his statement holds true is if he doesn't include minors in that. I would say that's true for people hiking.
Oh,
Going out to
unfortunately,
enjoy the woods.
there's a lot of
You know?
miners that give us a bad name with a lot of their actions. You know,
Fishermen
but
too, and hunters as well.
yeah, and off-roaders
Tomato,
and
tomato.
everybody, where we.
Yeah.
Have you ever been to an environment rally afterwards?
Oh yeah, it's terrible.
Yeah.
Ever been to a save the planet rally afterwards?
Cups all over the ground. Yep. Disposable cups all over the ground.
Ever go to I don't know, a big old gathering of miners and go afterwards? That place is clean most of the time.
Yeah.
You know.
Need to have it found, if not better.
I was gonna say, one big thing is that when there is, like, say, a campsite that's not clean, is that the community holds each other accountable. There'll be somebody to say, hey, clean up your trash, get that, take that with you.
Before you leave,
So-
police your area.
Right.
Yeah.
Pack it in, pack it out.
Pack out more than you brought in.
That's all right.
Right. No, that's like something that's always in our vehicle when we go out. Did you bring the extra trash bags? Yeah. All right, good. We know you're gonna find something.
Now, next time you do, go to the Forest Service or your BLM office and say, hey, I was just on our public lands and I picked up this. Can I use your dumpster? And see what they
Good
do.
idea. I will actually. We got your.
That's better than taking it home with you.
Oh yeah.
That's the thing. That's the thing. We clean up after we're all done, and I get home and I'm like, God dang it, I forgot to throw all this away. So it sits in the back of my truck for about a good week until I go and do a dump run.
Been there, done that, Jaron. Been there, done that.
Yeah, many a time. Why did I just drive all this trash 90 miles home?
Threw it out the side of the road.
I've got a mountain-sized scrap pile of metal on my property now, mountain-sized.
I'm sure you do.
Yeah.
All
One
you
of
need
these days
now,
we'll take it to the scrapyard.
take it to the scrapyard or build yourself a furnace. One of the two.
Right.
Build
Do
yourself a
something
forge.
someday.
There you go. Learn how to forge,
There
Rose.
you go.
Take all that.
That's a
scrap
great
metal,
idea. Something I've considered. Yeah.
Yeah, make scrap knives and stuff. You know.
Another bit of lifestyle for Rose, you know.
Yeah.
Another hobby. Another hobby.
Yeah.
What you
First,
doing, honey?
Starts off as a magnet fisher, and then winds up as a blacksmith.
My arms this big, right?
Well, this is free material, right?
Oh,
Right,
right,
yes, yes,
right.
it is.
I mean, you're
And
starting
it's
off
out
with
of the water.
you got a ton of material all ready to go. You know.
Yep. Yep.
I saw a guy not too long ago. He was making Damascus steel with black sand. I don't know how that works really well, to be honest with you, but I saw a guy a while back. This is probably about a year and a half ago. He was collecting people's black sands and adding it in to his knife making process. And I was very curious how that would turn out. I mean, if it's not used, if black sands are not used, I'm curious if that even would work. I don't know if it would or not. I never kind of dug deep into it.
Just in my own mind, my dumb old mind, since a lot of black sands are magnetic, that's telling me there's metal in there somewhere, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So he's processing that down into making some kind of metal that he's mixing with steel, or I don't know. I'm sure we got a smart guy in this chat room that's gonna.
Yeah, somebody's got to know. Yeah.
Somebody's gonna know. They're gonna be like,
But I'm sure that if he's using it and if he's serious about doing it, then yeah, obviously because I don't know. Carbon,
Yeah, the last couple of years, the creativity that I've seen with different products and stuff coming out, Jeremiah, he's a good guy. He started doing it's like a gold picker in an epoxy set, and he makes necklaces and earrings and stuff like that. And the creativity that I've seen just explode in the last couple of years, especially with the pandemic. Like, people are thinking more outside the box than they've ever thought about, and a lot of the stuff that I see. No, it's awesome, the creativity that I've seen in the last couple of years. It blows my mind. The black sands and Damascus steel knives, and then you got the earrings that are made, and then I've seen quite a few other cool little contraptions for catching gold and stuff like that. And I think the last couple of years with this whole being stuck inside, people have really pushed their creativity to the next level. I mean,
you're talking about gold catching product. What's that his name? He does the little magnet thing.
spin-off magnets, man. Those things are just...
the spinoff. Is that what you're talking about?
Not Dave. Not Dave. Are you talking about the magic bit?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's 3D printed, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, what's his name? He was on last year or 2 years ago.
Coulter
Young.
Yeah.
Coulter
Young.
Yeah.
I actually met Coulter at the shop in Montana. He was up there too. Pretty nice guy.
And that's another creativity thing. I mean,
who
would have thought that you could 3D print something and then just use it on your pan and just spin it off? Of course.
I got his little cleanup sluice.
Oh, there you go. Nice.
Those things are nice.
I like the magic bit. I like Dave's spin it off too, but
Yep.
I do like Coulter's Young magnet bit too. They both have their place, and one's a lot simpler and smaller to use. But
I saw a device, and I hope someone here can tell me who makes this device. But I saw this device that was 3D printed not too long ago. They pour in through this port. They have the spin it off here, as a rotating device, and it separates your black sands from your.
That's culture.
Coulter has that.
So it is Coulter that made that.
Yeah,
Bill.
that's culture. He's got that separator.
That thing is killer, man.
Yeah, that
It's
thing
meant
is
for
next
dry
level.
material.
Right.
Right.
Everything dry.
Right.
Dry. The thing is just
I wonder. Well, that's crazy. No, but never mind. Never mind. I was thinking to replace a dry washer, but all it's doing is separating the magnetics from the sands. It's not separating.
I'm curious. Yeah, I was going to say, I'm curious how that'd play out on a bigger rig. You know, instead of just a small handheld device, if maybe it was much bigger for commercial purpose.
Scale it up.
Yeah, I'm wondering how that'd work. Really wonder how that
If
would
you
work.
could scale it up and your material's bone dry before it goes into your wash plant, I think it would help alleviate a lot of problems later with your heavy magnetics. You know,
Oh, especially like up in Alaska, or like Ray would love one of those.
well, it's a raised sand actually. A lot of it's non-magnetic cavities, yeah.
Well, most of my sand is. Like when I throw a magnet through that thing, there she goes. But
Let's be honest, James. Your black sands are nightmares for anybody in the entire world, buddy.
It's black sludge. I mean, hey, you
I
have
hate
some
it.
right
Yeah,
now. Don't you
yes, I
have
do.
some in a baggie?
I do, and I'm sure. Well, you know, it's funny that you bring that up, James. We're actually doing something called Black Sand Sunday, and I don't know if it was Arrow that devised this. It's kind of an inside joke. What we're gonna do is we're gonna do 5 bags of black sand, and only one of them is gonna have just a little bit of gold in it. And we decided to send all 5 out to random folks in the PB family and have them pan that black sand down to the gold. And there was a couple guys that were like, "Man, you're a jerk for doing that," but we decided it'd be something fun to do, you know, just for the heck of it while we're stuck inside, right?
Yeah.
Oh. Wow.
Oh, yeah, we like doing a few different cool things for the PB family. We got the Black Sand Sunday. Swagger Saturday, you know, post a pic in your PB gear wherever in a really cool spot. The person with the most likes, you know, gets a prize, stuff like that. So it's a lot of fun. And I mean, while we're all stuck inside, you know, a lot of us are stuck inside. Why not do it? It's something to do.
We started another thing too is getting pay dirt from other people's areas. You know, just asking them to send that into us. Like, we've got a bucket of pay dirt that came out of some creek. We don't care if it's got a bunch of gold in it or not. Send a sample so we can send it out to somebody else and they can experience what somebody else goes through when they're panning. You know, things like that. So.
Well, the problem is we didn't think about is the majority of folks places they go and pan and sluice is buried in a foot of snow. So when we came out with the idea, you know, we really didn't think about it like, hey, you know what, a lot of people's areas are snowed in and they can't really go out there and grab some dirt.
Wait till spring maybe to start that.
Yeah.
So yeah, so we're trying to get that going. That was a good idea from Arrow. We're going to try to bring a couple more really cool ideas. And at the end of the day, it's all about having some fun. I know a lot of people I know a lot of people get stuck inside during the wintertime and, you know, the gold fever or whatever people call it. I know it's been called a million different things, but you know, it gets to you, and it's not going out and getting gold. It's the adventure beforehand. You know, it's getting out there, and driving, and doing this and doing that,
hanging with your friends. Yeah.
So,
call me crazy, but I like digging an 8-10 foot deep 8-foot wide hole with a bunch of my friends. I don't know what
Right.
there is about it, but let's go see what's down there, you know?
Hey, that hole was actually pretty cool. It was about 108 degrees the weekend we were out there digging. I had my shirt off. James had made a couple of videos, and I told Adam, I said, get out of the hole. Let me get in the hole. I'll dig all day. It's nice and cool in there. It's probably 70, 75 degrees. Like, man, come on. I'll dig all day. I don't mind.
Yeah.
There's West Michigan's getting about 4 to 9 inches of snow tonight. So yeah.
And we're in a
There's
winter
You
snow
hope,
all over.
for like 4 days.
Yeah, if we have a moment just to say everybody stay safe out there, keep an eye on, you know, make sure you know where your blankets are at, you know, your refrigerator sealed, whatever you need, just stay safe out there, guys. Stay safe and smart. Stay off the roads.
Definitely. All your loved ones, reach out to your loved ones, make sure that they're okay.
Yep.
You know, that shoveling the sidewalk goes a long way for your family, your friends.
Yeah.
You know, we definitely can't stress that enough. It's something so simple and minuscule, but makes a big impact on a lot of the people in your life, whether it's friends or family. So definitely reach out to them and make sure that they're doing okay. And if they need help, get your butt over there and help them.
Well said. Yeah, well said.
A big thing. I live rural, so we have to drive 15 miles just for a convenience store. Don't forget to have a sleeping bag or a blanket in that vehicle.
Oh, yes.
Warm, because who knows what's going to happen. You're going to slide off the road and be stuck a while. You know? So have those extra emergency supplies in your vehicle. A candle inside an old coffee can makes a nice little warming pot. So those little things will go a long way, guys. I mean, since it is winter, Jaron knows this about me. Safety, safety, safety. And don't get too crazy this spring. Remember that snow's melting. It's coming down the mountains. I mean, yeah, you guys are over in Ohio. I forget it's kind of flat. It takes a little while for our mountain water to
Here we go.
over there. But, you know, every year, Jaron and I, we see it happen from Colorado to California to Washington, Idaho, Montana. People get so excited. Winter's over, they go get in that cold water and they don't think about how cold it is. They don't think about how much is coming down through
Not prepared. Yeah.
Not prepared. And next thing you know, we see a bucket full of tools and nobody knows whose tools those are.
And that's the worst feeling. That's the worst feeling when you're out there, you know, and you see a backpack and this, that, and the other, and it's only been there for a day or less. You kind of, you know, you don't want your mind to instantly go to that, you know, to that situation. But at the end of the day, it's when you're out in certain parts, you know, it could be a make or break kind of situation. So, you know, definitely
like safety, people, safety.
Yeah, big time.
When I would back home, whenever I went out, though, I'd always let someone know the general area I'm at, when to expect me back. If I'm not back by this time.
Hey, I have a good story on breaking my own rule. We were running dirt last
yeah, let's hear it.
Yeah, we were running dirt last spring and we were getting good gold. We didn't want to stop. And, you know, I looked over my shoulder. I saw the weather coming. I'm like, and I looked at my little brother and I go, what do you want to do, man? You want to run some more or you want to push this? And we both decided, let's push it. He filled up 10 more buckets and I had 9 sitting in front of me. We got down to about that last 6 and said, uh-oh. And we put those 6 on the bank. We had to hike about a half mile to get our gear down. And by the time we left, we were soaked to the bone. Libby Creek had risen about 2.5 feet. And we had a full-fledged blizzard going on that we had to drive down the highway in with a trailer full of gold gear. I mean, it was one of those situations where it was like, you know, that gold brain took switch.
That's,
you know?
Oh, yeah.
That's exactly.
We did not even, we wanted out so bad that we didn't change our clothes. We had dry clothes. We got into the Tacoma, turned the heater on, and we motored. And it got to the point where we were in that 10-mile-an-hour drive, wide out. The only way you knew you were on what side of the road was when you were starting to come towards a delineator. Oh, I better turn back the other way now.
Yeah, that's one of the things that happened to me was basically a full-blown whiteout when I was up north. I had taken an ATV trail, which was the dumbest idea. I was in a 95 K 1500, and I mean this thing was a bucket of bolts, but best believe I was getting where I wanted to go, right? But same thing that happened to me. You know, I took an ATV trail, which I shouldn't have done. And I mean, mind you, it's they call it an ATV trail up north, but it's wide enough to get a vehicle up. It's wide enough, to get up there. And that's the same thing that happened to me. I went up early spring, and I got my truck stuck. And of course, when you're up north, in the spot I was, I didn't have cell service. Nobody's up there. The forest
I know, buddy.
ranger, even border patrol, like nobody's up there, that early in the spring. I mean, and I got stuck for 2-3 hours and I didn't know what the heck to do. All I had was a crappy little foldable army shovel and a couple other couple other little things with me. And I started panicking. I'm like, do I try to hike down the mountain, and like, what do I do? And so I took that crappy little foldable army shovel and I dug for about 3 hours until it got dark and actually got my truck unstuck. And, I'll never do it again. It was a learning experience. So, like Ed said, make sure you tell someone where you're going, what time you're going to get back. I mean, these are common sense things that if you're going out, especially by yourself, those are common sense things that you should be doing, standard. It's
Right.
a no-brainer to let people know where you're going and when you're going to be back.
Don't let that animalistic side of you that loves something shiny.
But
make
that's
that
the
bad
problem.
decision. Yeah,
That's the problem.
But
Yeah.
the finish.
No,
I mean, we didn't quite get to finish with that Libby story.
Oh,
So summer is going on. We're getting good gold. Jaron talks about Adam's little ding ding dings with his AT gold, and it actually pulled me away. I'm like, I need to think outside the box. Yeah, everybody wants to dredge that big pool they see, right? And I'm like, let's move. And everybody thought I was crazy. We moved around the corner, and what Adam had found was a rotten area in the bedrock that had a nice deposit of gold in it. And we started tearing into it, and we were getting good gold. And you know how you get the happy dance down on the beach? Well, little behold, this lumber company is watching all this go down from up on the hillside.
huh.
And within days of we getting into this spot that no one has ever dredged, I mean, the mud was just, it had that smell and that look and, everything that we all dream about. And next thing you know, we're closing the road again. Fire season's hit. We're in the wrong spot, getting threatened to leave.
I had my truck packed too. I was about to get in the truck.
Jaron was supposed to come over.
Yeah,
We're
I
supposed
had
to have a
everything.
group
Yeah,
dig event, and everything goes haywire again. And a road that we were using is now closed, and now we can't use it. And late in this last September, I got a call from a friend. I'm not going to name them. I don't want to get them in any kind of hassle. But literally, this lumber company had people that they paid to watch us from the hillsides the entire summer.
Like I said,
And they were watching with spotting scopes that, an elk hunter is going to use.
Right.
From a ridge to ridge shot with that 50 cal. That's how close they were watching us and taking.
That's just a little bit of money out of their pocket. Don't mean nothing to them.
It's nothing for them to pay some guys to watch us, but
no.
Mm-hmm.
Big bucks.
well, what's the big deal that we're just some average dudes just wanting to pull some gold out of the earth, and not do and that's what it really is. That's where my politics sides of it always goes, is that they don't want us off the tip. They want us all doing that job. I'm not picking on you, Jaron. Running the forklift, packaging that stuff in the coffee plant. Walmart making sure that they got the newest Lego toy and the guy up there stocking it.
Oh yeah, they don't want
and
they don't
nobody
want you to
making
be a
any real
full-time
money but the
dredger
company.
or high banker
Correct?
or
Well,
whatever it may
here's
be.
a
Yeah.
thought too. Now,
You know,
what if there's prospectors
why
that
can't a
are?
guy just go make some money from the earth?
I knew a lot of loggers in Skagit Valley that were also dredgers.
Yeah.
So you have a guy working for oh Joe Schmo
Whatever.
lumber company, and he's a dredger, and he hears you guys are found a nice, really decomposed pocket and pulling out some nice gold, and now they have control of the property. Hey, boss, corporate, whatever. you know.
That's yep. Oh yeah.
Exactly.
They got unlimited money to be able to push out, any one of us, and that's the problem. It takes a big following and a big stand up to push
And
push back. It takes a lot.
that's what Shannon always talks about too.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Look, there, he's fighting for the little guys, and there's a bunch of them. But it's hard to fight somebody who's got unlimited resources.
Yep.
Because it's not just the lumber company; it's the environmentalists, it's the government themselves. Because the government doesn't even want us on there at all. They'd rather keep us behind the fence. Keep us stay on the sidewalk, stay behind the line there, and be good little boys and girls.
Be compliant.
Don't forget to come
No,
outside with your
I wouldn't know how to do that, dude.
I have a cooler shirt I almost wore, but a Grateful Dead one works just as well. So
Mhm.
couldn't be any more non-compliant. I agree.
So yeah.
Do not comply.
While we got a law here, let me do a little shout out for
What's
our
going
buddy.
on in the chat anyway? Jaron, you got two
Oh, I don't
screens.
know. Our buddy Clint
Let's-
Washburn here is having his holiday sales going on until tonight. He's got a holiday bundle which includes all the gold claw, three of the gold claws.
The production, the prospector, and the pocket claw.
Little bit of gold dirt, and he's got them on sale right now. But the sale ends tonight. In case you are deciding whether you want to get one of these kits. Normally run $139.95, but until midnight they're $69.95. Every 10th order wins a free gold picker.
Wow.
Yeah. And like I was telling you before, it's one of those pieces of equipment that's really hard to relearn how to pan with, because you got to relearn how to pan. You got to retrain your muscles again. But once you get it, man, it's great pan. So if you guys are we're thinking about getting one, they're on sale right now to the end of till midnight.
Made in America.
Yeah.
Made in America, by an American,
Comes
for
with
American.
comes with a little container of pay dirt, practice
Right.
dirt, a vial, a snuffer bottle.
I bought one when they first came out, so I must have what they call the in-between model, not that tiny one.
The prospector claw, the original.
Yeah,
The original is
that's
the
what I had.
prospector. Right? That's the one. And then they come out with the pocket pan, which is a small one. Ed drinks coffee out of. And then just last year,
I have drinking coffee out of it. Yes, used it for coins.
I think it was last year or the year before he came out with the production pan. I think it was the year before.
And even the pocket claw with Dream Map pocket sluice. I
Heck
didn't
yeah.
have enough room in my. I went to Washington. I flew to Washington. I threw those in my bag with a snuffer bottle. I did have to steal a spoon from a restaurant. Don't tell nobody.
I'm not the only one. Thank you.
But I actually had equipment with me that stuck in my carry-on luggage that I could get out to the stream one day while I was back home. So, hey,
Also, everybody, don't forget to hit the like button and help us get to 5,000. Where are we at?
I don't know.
Yeah, we need less than 200 people to subscribe. So share this out, like it. I suppose I should like it too.
You're always the last to
Practice
like
what you
it,
preach.
Jesse.
Yeah.
I don't
Share
know.
it.
I'm at like
There you go.
I have too many windows on my 3 monitors open.
Yeah, I see.
I'm at 4.88 thousand.
Yep.
So
Be cool to get to 5.
No, that's absolutely awesome. I spoke with Ed quite a bit before the podcast and whatnot. You know, what you guys have been doing for as long as you've been doing it is freaking bad to the bone. I've had guys reach out to me, Rob, and a few other guys. You know, they watch your guys' podcast and, you know, they said, hey, you really got to reach out to Ed, reach out to all the folks over there. And I'm glad we were able to make it happen.
Oh, hell yeah.
Definitely.
It's been freaking phenomenal. And you guys are definitely some awesome people. I mean,
appreciate it.
I did a lot of different research over here back at home. You know, I watched a couple of your guys' Tuesday night hangouts, and you guys are wholesome, you know, and that's what I love to see. And that's what we try to do, is just be wholesome and enjoy company. You know, at the end of the day, that's what it's about, is enjoying company. So, you know, I appreciate you guys. I really do.
Here.
How you doing, Vicky?
Sleep well, Vicky, Ryan.
Well said, Jaron.
Yeah,
totally
definitely,
agree.
Jaron. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Oh, but I tell you, if you look at my first year of this podcast, whatever. Oh, it was bad. It was crappy.
Video blog?
Beep. Yeah, ask Mr. Lodek. I was doing it on my laptop and it was laggy. It was frustrating for me and the community, and I'm trying to do too much, and the more you do, the more it taxes your system. And
yeah, that's when we first started the Digging Deeper podcast.
It went smooth. I think it went pretty dang smooth, man.
I was about to throw open my mouth the first podcast.
I've always been like Mr. Chill about it. He's like gets all nervous and stuff. Well, we're gonna put a tongue on tonight.
I'm gonna tell you.
I'm so nervous. I'm like, dude, just be real. Be who you are.
Yeah, you think that's funny? Well, up till probably like last year, before every show, Ed would sit there because like we would do this.
Oh, I'd be nervous,
really
nuts. Nervous.
Had you not responded to his message right away, he'd be in the background. Oh, God damn!
No, it'd be like weeks.
Where's the guy at? Where they at?
I schedule months out, right? And I say pre-show at 7:30 Eastern Standard Time, 4:30 Pacific Standard Time. Can you make the pre-show? Yes. And then I send the link. At that time, we're using Skype. And it'd be like 5 minutes till showtime. I'm freaking out. I'm like, oh my God. And then I'm nervous to boot.
And yelling.
Yeah, and friends out there,
and to sit down and what's Ed, calm down. We'll go. What's plan B? We just go on and just do our show. Nobody's here. Go on.
The good thing is you're you're Mexican parts made in America, Jesse. I'm Irish and German parts made in America, and sometimes those get the better of me.
No.
You
I'm
Ed,
Irish.
you've come
I'm
leaps and
Irish
bounds.
Czech. That's even worse than being Irish German. Okay.
Well, that's the funny
He
thing.
doesn't do that anymore. Now, if you don't show up, you don't show up. Who cares?
It's
We're
like
Right.
gonna
open line Tuesday. Woo!
we're gonna do our thing.
We'll pull
Open
a
line.
sucker in from the audience. I mean,
Yeah, we'll grab
a
somebody from the
valued
audience.
guest from the audience, a victim. No, but I love the show, and that's why I can say I'm proud that we June 22nd, 5 years without missing a day.
That's
pretty
awesome.
damn good.
I might
That is,
even
yeah.
if it's solo, it's sick, whatever. I go on. The show must go on, Tim Grimes.
But you'd say it. Yeah.
The
Show must go on.
Yeah.
Well, I
Yeah.
think you've only had to go solo just what once,
Once, I believe. Yeah.
and it was just recently.
Yeah.
Jaron, you got to go solo twice, right?
I don't remember. It's probably tucked back in the little part of my mind that never wants to remember it.
I did. Yukon Alley.
Memory hole with the
Yukon
key
Alley
on.
episode, and then there was another one because I was just indisposed.
It was funny. There was one podcast that we did. I got to go through them and watch it again. I was rolling so hard. Oh my goodness. I told James, I said, "Hey man," I said, "Do you want to bring in the podcast? Introduce, and the whole shebang." And he was so excited to do it. And as soon as we got on, he's, well, yeah, prospecting buddy.
You dumped it on me in the last second anyway.
But the show ended up turning out great.
Great show.
And trust me, our first shows, we were exactly the same. And everything was screwing up. We were screwing up. The YouTube was screwing up. Everything, it was.
Yeah.
And then not being professionals at doing like interviews. I mean, I've always been able to talk a lot, obviously, but but to actually sit there and try to ask decent questions, and so what I do, I didn't do it to you guys because you guys are already on your own channel. What I usually tell people when they come on, talk all you want. And then talk.
The more you talk, the better Jesse likes it.
Right. So I don't have to fill in, And
That's
then Rose, and then when Rose come on, she'd never really done a live show. I don't think you had at that point, had you?
I was really getting used to it. So no, you guys were our first Treasure Vixens live show. First one ever.
Right. And then she just started coming on regularly, and the same with her. And the reason we want her on was because of a different perspective of what we've been talking about for years already, right?
Right.
So bring in someone new for a different perspective, different questions.
And it helps. We've met Rose personally, and like JP and Benzo Gold, they worked her and Angela, Rose's magnet fishing partner, the other Vixen. They worked their heinies hard at Flash Bash, and they got some shiny in their pan, and they got bit. Rose got bit a little.
Speaking of Flash Bash, where you guys are going around traveling, we throw a Flash Bash every year where those other people come to our spot, and we hang out and we meet YouTubers that way. That's how we get to do our handshake.
That's awesome.
That's cool.
Right.
Yeah.
No,
go-
but
Now, do you?
I'm hoping soon we'll be able to travel around and do what you guys are doing. That
No,
would be
that's that's another thing that we're trying to do this summer if everything works out, is get back east, take one long road trip, go back east and meet a lot of the folks over back east. The biggest problem at the end of the day is the traveling.
Right.
If we take a plane, then we're coming just ourselves. If we drive, we can actually bring, equipment, this, that, and the other. And, so it's one of those things where we're trying to figure out, logistically. A couple of good buddies up in Alaska want us up there. We want to try to meet as many people as we can and just continue. Yeah, go for it, James.
No, go for it, brother. Finish it up.
No, we're trying to meet as many people as possible because, like, at the end of the day, learning other people's techniques and how they do things in their part of their life, and meeting their family, and just being able to communicate with different people in different states, is massive. It's huge.
Well,
it does happen
Flash
naturally too, without
Yeah.
you even wanting it to happen, Jaron.
Oh yeah.
James.
just remember this: Flash Bash happens the first weekend of June.
Right.
The weekend.
Yep.
And where is that at?
Someplace over here. It's been in three different locations so far. So
all in Ohio, though.
Well, and then Jaron, we have those other things that we got to do, right? We have the PB clan. We have the mining activities that we got to do. I plan on being in the water April 1st. So.
And that's the thing is we're trying to put everything we can in a pot and make sure it all works, but realistically, it just never works that way. So,
this is what I said earlier too. You either got to do the camera or you got to do the work. You combine the two, you're gonna get it done, but it's not gonna be the same.
Right. And that's,
if you want a ton of gold, you got to put the camera down. If you want a ton of
guys,
gold,
the answer is to have a cameraman.
Okay.
That's the thing.
Easier said than done.
That's why we're kidnapping a person.
We're kidnapping Arrow over in Western Washington.
He's actually in the room now too.
Who's that?
Arrow Bremer, one of my good buddies.
When I first met Ed, that's what I said. Hey, why don't you let me be your cameraman?
And now look at him, sucker.
He said, no, I'm going to put you in front of the camera. Wait a minute.
It's like, hold on a second. What? How?
Yeah.
No, go for it.
I feel like I sound like a broken record when I say this, but I just think it's so amazing that we created these YouTube channels, or we joined these YouTube communities, and it has turned into this meeting friends. They're not strangers, they're friends that you've made. Like, it blows my mind to think that right now we're having a conversation on a Tuesday night Hangout Live, and who knows, maybe next year we could meet up with you and Pan. I just can't believe the possibilities that have come from this YouTube community. I can't believe it.
And not just
right. And I'll have to agree with you 100%. When I first started PB, I never thought in a million years that it would ever get to where it's at. And now we're planning trips to go and meet folks and run different material and go and spend time with this person or that person's family. And, I never thought in a million years that it would ever be where we are today. And, it's
joined in the first month, and here we are. We're closing in on 4,000 members or something.
It's been the most humbling experience out of everything. The most when we do like the giveaways and this, that, and the other. when I see someone post with a smile from ear to ear, that right there is my acceptance. That's like my, I get giggly about it because I'm spreading that positivity in multiple different states, and being able to see them, sending me messages if they don't want to go public with it, and they just send me a message, and I see that message, it just warms my heart because we're doing something that's extremely positive. And the only way from here is to continue to go up, with the positivity, with meeting new people. The chance that me and James gets to have to come on to your guys' podcast and get to know you guys a bit more on a human to human level, it's extremely humbling, and
Sure.
every single podcast that we ever do, we always think, well, how is this going to go? But at the end of the day, it turns out to be a phenomenal podcast because, we speak positivity and we want to really know who these people are. So it's been nothing but positivity, and that's where we want to keep it going.
So
That's for
according to Jaron, Mr. Lodak, it says the best way to become a successful YouTuber is not to be a successful moderator.
That's why he's the world's greatest moderator.
He's the world's greatest moderator, without a doubt.
Now, have you two had the experience yet of someone that you've never met approaching you on the river or
Yes.
in a parking lot or Menards?
McDonald's.
On the river on Libby Creek, when we were dredging, I had someone come up to me asking me if I was so and so, from so and so. But that wasn't actually a happy thing. That was another little side thing that was more of a let's see what these people were up to moment. You know what I mean?
It can be quite suspicious. I remember this one guy, Chris Dye, if you're in the room, you're a good bro, you know that. But this guy, Chris Dye, I'm dredging at the Swank West property down by the island, and I'm bringing up gear. He comes up to me and says, I know you. You're Ed Marvin. I've seen all your videos. And I told him a couple years later, I go, Chris, if you would have finished that with, I'm your number one fan, I would have ignored you from then out. Okay, now you're stalking me. I've seen too many horror drama stories about stuff like that.
Well, I was accused of being a stalker because I went up to say hi to a YouTuber.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
This dude,
he won a sluice and a gold pan, or you were gonna give him a gold pan and stuff.
No, he won. He won
the Green Mountain Gold Trap.
No, he won a pan. He won a panning kit. He came into our show, right? And that night we had a giveaway, which we normally don't do. But that night we had a giveaway, and he won. Well, I just happened to know that he lived like a few miles from me, and I knew he was. I knew where he was filming, right? He was filming his outdoor adventures, which were like 5 feet from the road, next to the river, right? But he's dark in the.
It depends on how you frame it.
In the woods, nobody can find him. And I'm going, I know exactly where you're at, dude. Come on. You're right by the road at a park. But anyways, I knew he was, because he had mentioned, because he was doing outdoor stuff, survival stuff.
Yeah, bush skills and bushcraft.
Yeah, right, which is cool. That's something I like to watch, But I knew where he was at. So I said, well, rather than spend the money shipping, I could just drive out there. It's just a few miles down the road, you know. And it's on a cool river, and I might do a little painting myself or whatever. So I go up to where I knew he was going to be, and I'm watching him. I'm actually watching him on my phone, doing his live, right? I'm watching him on my phone doing his live. I walked up probably no closer than 20 or 30 yards from him, and the dude flipped out. Because I'm standing there watching him, right? I'm watching the video as he's doing his live thing, and he totally flipped out. Somebody standing here watching me. Well, first he looks at me and goes, I'm videoing. I said, yeah, I know. You know, because I'm watching.
I'm watching.
I'm watching you right now.
You know, and I even told him who I was, right? What I was there for. I was going to give. The dude wanted nothing to do with me. I mean, wouldn't take the prize he had just won. He accused me of filming his daughter. And I'm going, well, first of all, I can if I want, but I'm not. I'm watching you, idiot.
Right.
Sorry. But he just totally clicked off his live stream, and him and his daughter took off. And I'm trying to give him this pan. He says, quit following me. Dude, the only path in and out. You know, I got to follow you. I'm trying to give you your prize. He wouldn't take it. He just took off.
And unfortunately, he blew it way out of proportion.
Yeah. So then he comes back. He deletes that first video. He comes back and he's telling everybody that I'm stalking him.
Oh,
I'm
geez.
stalking him. I'm do all this crazy stuff, but you have to be careful when you don't be honest on YouTube, because these people here in the chat room, they'll call you out.
Oh yeah,
Mhm.
yeah,
They'll call you out. And that's good.
Yeah.
yeah.
But he got called out on that big time. Hadn't heard from him since. Of course, he wouldn't let me respond to him. As soon as he said something, I responded to him. I told him, I know exactly where you were. He blocked me, you know.
See,
But
and that's the thing. People like that, you know, their true colors show eventually. It's only a matter of time before your true colors show. And and in the community, more so than ever, there's people all in all corners that will figure you out very quickly. And so, you know, if you're doing it just to monetize, or you're doing it for whatever other purpose, then obviously you're going to be exposed very quickly. And you know, that's the thing with the community, is everybody talks with everybody.
Right.
You know, so you know, everybody knows a little bit about any certain situation that goes on within the community, and it gets spread very quickly, you know. And at the end of the day, that's just like you just said, that's the reality of it. Is you have a lot of guys that are on YouTube that do this for a living, or they do this, you know, every single weekend or whatever it may be.
Right.
So, you know, it's only a matter of time before you're exposed as you know, something else, you know.
Right.
So
And look, and the guy just said, I'm going to show you how to survive out in the woods. You know, I'm over here by a river, you know, but that's not what he did. He went, oh, I'm way back in the bush, deep dark, where nobody can find me, and this is how I survive. Well,
right.
dude, that's not true. You were by the road.
I parked my truck and walked in 15 feet, and there you were, bud.
Camera
and you know
angles.
what? I never said anything. I never said anything to him about it, or to anybody. I didn't bad mouth him or nothing till he started
Right.
bad mouthing me. You know.
Right.
Yep.
You know. So then, okay, fine, we'll play.
Yeah.
You know. So yeah.
Well,
But
and
look,
those situations happen. When those situations happen, that's one of the biggest, I guess you could say, gray lines that we try to, over at PB, we try to tread lightly on 24/7, 7 days a week, because like we were talking pre-show, you know, different people use different equipment, different people have different techniques,
Right.
and it bothers the heck out of me when you got this guy or you got that guy saying, well, mine's better than yours and this, that, and the other, when one's on the freaking West Coast and one's on the East Coast. It's like, how is that even possible when you've never even ran any of the dirt back east compared to what's over here?
Yeah.
You know, so we tried to you know, we don't promote anybody more than the podcast. You know, we'll bring them on the podcast and we'll talk about, you know, their product and what they do, and you know, we leave it at that. And the reason being, like we said earlier in the pre-show, is tomato. What works for me probably doesn't work for you, and vice versa. So, you know, you're going to always have those stiflers, and I've learned that the hard way with PB, that's for sure. We've had a few people come in and they act like they're just, oh, I'm hardcore this and hardcore that. And it's like, all right, buddy, bye, leave group. You know,
I've been doing my dryland dredge thing and been called that I'm hydroblasting the hillside. You know,
For booming.
You know, for what we were doing some dryland dredging.
Nothing wrong with booming. Shit, you put
know,
water in a hole and you suck it through your dredge. You're not hydraulicking.
Exactly.
It's like how I was saying where the environmentalists will use spawned out dead fish in a pitcher, like back home in Washington, Jaron, and say dredging did this. Or they'll show pictures of monitors and people blowing down mountainsides and like, do you want your landscape to end up looking like this? It's like, wow.
That's I've seen that time and time again. It, especially in Washington more than ever. I obviously, you know, some of the guys in PB have a lot more knowledge with a lot of that going on in Washington, so I can't speak too much on the topic. But you know, you see a lot of that, and it all boils down to whose pockets are being fed. I mean, in all reality, when you start diving deep into the research and looking into specific people who are elected and this, that, and the other, their net worth gets a lot bigger and very quickly. Yep. So, you know, I don't want to, like I said, talk too much about the topic in Washington because it's such a sore topic. You have so many specific people that are ruining a lot of good things here in Washington. Lots of good things in Washington. I mean,
oh yeah.
I mean, even the fishing. I used to absolutely enjoy fishing. I used to love fishing. I could probably name off a ton of different lakes within an hour and a half drive of me that I used to fish all the time. And do I fish them anymore? No, I don't. And there's specific reasons for it. You know, so you know, it's a tough situation, but at the end of the day, some guys, you know, such as Casey and Arrow and a couple other guys over there, I can't remember their name right now. They get around certain laws and regulations, you know, and it's perfectly legal for them to do what they're doing. Me personally, I just get fed up with it. You know, I get to a point now, you know, with PB being 2 years in, that, you know, I can go over to Idaho, I can go over to Montana and spend quality time with good, wholesome folks and actually get gold without having to look over my shoulder every 2 seconds, you know, and it's disappointing that's what has to happen. But right now in the day and age we live in, that's just what it is. You know, it's an unfortunate thing, but that's just what it is.
Yeah.
So
what's up, Brockton Magnet Fisher?
Yeah, what's going on, man?
Yeah, it you know, and it really sucks because it's hard to keep politics out of everything.
Yeah, it sucks.
All right, yeah.
You know, and we really try, but you know, sometimes it creeps into what we're doing, and we have to be vocal about it.
Yeah, it's the same,
right or wrong.
That's the same thing with our show. Is, you know, we try to steer away from the politics of it the best we can, but at times you just have to call it what it is when it's
right.
Well,
we know
we're about the same way. We try and keep politics out of the show, but you know, there's times where politics interject themselves into our lifestyle.
Exactly. I mean, Jared has his thing in Washington. In Montana, we have a whole different deal. Everybody worries about any kind of mining, new mining proposals. It's a big placer or an underground mine going for ore. It's like this immediate cyanide connection, right? Because of Butte and Anaconda and all the cyanide leach mining that was done and then was banned here in the late 80s, early 90s, something like that. And they use that cyanide as a crutch, and none of these new proposals have anything to do with cyanide. I mean, nothing at all. And then we try to get a mine, something changed so that we can get a mine in the cat just near us over the hill, and can't get it done because there's so much money throwing so much bad information on the wall. I won't use a good friend of mine's term for that. And they shove it in the face so many times that people just believe this, that it's the truth. And it couldn't be anything further from the truth, right? And that's what makes it hard for me in Montana. Anytime I'm trying to talk to somebody about mining, is it's a fisheries and a cyanide thing immediately. And it's education.
Same thing comes with mercury, and
yeah,
a lot of people don't understand. If you like where I was on Canyon Creek, there's cinnabar mines throughout the area,
which is natural mercury.
Which
cinnabar.
Mercury, it bleeds from the cinnabar ore, and cyanide is a natural substance that will leach into the stream one way if it's coming out of a mine or not, and they happen to use it for leaching gold. So, so it's crazy. But like in California, they talk about mercury, but then they have the Sierra Club on a reclamation dredge set up to capture mercury and whatnot, doing more harm than regular dredging would.
Oh yeah.
And they get paid and keep the gold as a byproduct.
They get like maybe 70%, I think that's what I've read, of the heavies out, when you could put 100 guys on there with 4 and 6-inch dredges, and we could get 98% of the heavies out, including the gold. And that's the other part these cleanup projects don't talk about, is the gold they recovered while they were doing that cleanup on the project. That's their bonus. So they just got paid all this big chunk of change from a grant to go do this cleanup. I mean, we just had one in Montana, the Milltown cleanup, and they get all the copper, the silver, and the gold, and maybe some platinum, and they get to keep all that and then sell that on the wayside.
Right.
So,
So here's one of the it's really hard to change people's minds who have already set their mind to believe that's like that, which is one of the reasons why we like to work with kids. And I think everybody here, if you get an opportunity to teach kids, don't just teach them the pan, teach them about what miners do and how much we actually clean up and what gets pulled out, how you pull mercury out, you pull cyanide out, you pull
batteries,
garbage
cell
out,
phones,
batteries, cell phones, whatever, all that stuff. Exactly.
Lead,
show the young people this stuff and explain to them what, as a small-time miner or even a large company, there's a thing called reclamation, which never gets talked about. We talk about it on this show so much that I'm sure the camera's going, oh no, there goes Jesse again about reclamation.
Well, we reclaim our tailings dredging. We end up putting this pile here and we pull it right back into where we took it out of.
Oh yeah, blow it right back in.
And it's a better reds location for the fish now than it was before.
Absolutely.
That's right. That's right.
Our club in Ohio, we allow the trout fishermen to come to our stream.
Yeah, the fly fishermen, and they like
Right.
us to leave our dredge
love it.
holes.
We don't fill our holes in.
Our that
No,
way
it's a great
the
spot for.
yeah.
Before I was ever into gold and searching for gold, I was brought up as a fisherman in Montana. Fly rod in my hand at 4 years old. I stopped because of a bad shoulder. But here's one thing about fishing in gold. Wherever you cast that lure, that bait, that fly, that fish is hiding the gold right down below it.
He's hiding in a deep hole.
Same thing.
Yep, he's hiding in a
Etantric
deep
said,
hole.
Etantric said something. He says, I don't understand the disconnect for people on mining. Gardening is mining. Casey always says that today's small scale miners are the most ethical miners to date.
Yeah,
Absolutely, I agree.
I'd have to agree with you.
I
very
definitely
much.
agree with that.
Heavy Meadow Detective says, true. Small scale miners clean up so much and catch blame for miners 100 years ago. How much lead does the average small scale miner clean up?
Oh,
I don't know,
on
depends on who
some
you are.
rivers, tons. I
Daniel's
know
got the record for us.
I know
I
Alan
got a
Trees
1
on the
gallon
salmon.
bag full of fishing weights.
I know Alan
From last
Trees
summer.
out of Riggins, Idaho, on the Salmon River. In one trip, he pulled out like 7 buckets of lead.
Well,
Jeez.
Shannon and his crew filled up 3 picnic baskets. I mean, 3 picnic tables.
Right.
Literally covered them in lead that they pulled out dredging.
There's a
You want
video
to-
of a river in western Oregon. I forget the name of the river. I think it's up towards Eugene or maybe Sweet Home. But they had buckets and buckets and buckets of fish and lead.
Oh, there's so many different river channels over in Washington. I mean, the Spokane River alone was a complete dumping ground when Spokane was actually established. So
And a
I
lot
mean,
of these salmon runs.
they say
using
they
bait.
say you could eat 1 fish a month because of the mercury that's in the Spokane River. 1 a month.
Oh,
You know, that is absolutely ridiculous. I mean, I used to fish, I can't tell you how many different lakes: Clear Lake, Davis Lake, Aloika, Fish Lake. I mean, you know, and I'd bring fish home, and there's no limit as far as how many you could eat per month. The Spokane River is just, it's a complete toxic waste, and that's because they haven't really cared to clean it up, you know, and it's a sad tragedy. It really is. The guys, like I was saying earlier, over at H2O Magnets, you know, the amount of trash that they've pulled out just in the last 5 years is astonishing.
Well,
there's your biggest.
same
there's your
with the
biggest
treasure
environmentalist right
vixens
there,
or
man.
Brockton magnet fishers. They're doing a great job of, in an environmental sense, of cleaning
Oh,
up
yeah,
the
for
waterways, along
Yeah,
with
that's their hobby.
small
Yeah,
scale
right. That's what our
mining.
channels are made for. Yeah.
Right,
That's their
right.
hobby, cleaning up the rivers and creeks.
In Montana, up and down the Clark Fork, the Missouri, the Milk River, any of our major river systems, back in the day, they decided they would use old cars to stop erosion.
Oh,
So
yeah.
Hey, what
the
happens
banks
every-
and the bottoms are just littered in 1940s, 50s cars, just up and down the banks, the Flathead River. I mean, I would love to see magnet fishing take off in my state. I mean, because some interesting things are going to come out of the
Get your magnets out there.
for sure.
Yeah.
All you
Never
magnet
need magnets,
fishers,
'cause
get
we're
over
talking
there.
Cars, man.
Right. We're on our way. We're on our way. You know, and there's also a lot of dive teams too that pull out, you know, items as large as cars or try to solve
Oh,
missing
yeah.
person cases. Yeah.
Exploring
It
with
just,
Nug,
Yeah.
Depth of History, Adventures with Purpose,
yeah.
Sam the Adventure Man, all pulling out cars and helping solve
yeah.
It's all good
missing
stuff.
persons
It's
cases.
a massive cleanup effort on their part. Massive. The work that goes
That's
into
actually
it.
turned out to be worldwide too.
Oh,
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
people And other countries are doing it now. All from YouTube. All from YouTube.
Right.
Well,
That's
YouTube,
That's
YouTube
crazy when you
is the
think about it.
second largest search engine in the world. You have
YouTube's
Google
nuts.
as the biggest, and then YouTube.
Yep.
They
Yeah.
happen to be both owned by the Alphabet company, but
Yeah,
So you
it's
guys did you had a question. We had somebody ask you guys a question. One more pan wants to know, besides your pan, shovel, classifier, and snuffy, what's the next necessary thing you'll bring with you? Which is a great question, by the way.
nutrition.
My GAD bar.
Are you talking about the road trip coming up, or is that what that pertains to?
Or when I'm
or-
going to the stream or what?
I'm gonna say in
Oh,
general. I'm gonna say in
okay.
general, yeah.
That's a damn good question. We never bring enough food, I'll tell you that much. It's always
Nutrition.
James. It's always James and his 7-Up. We never really have food,
Right.
so I definitely have to say nutrition. That's one of the big things. Other than our pan, other than the little bit of equipment we do have, if we're just out prospecting, we don't bring a whole heck of a lot.
My GAD bar.
That helped out quite a bit.
I think that is one of the best tools to have in your bucket is a GAD bar. It will pry a very large boulder that you just wouldn't think it would do. And it'll
Yeah,
break up
right.
bedrock like no other. And
Me personally, I'd have to say, like Ed said, nutrition. I think we all get too excited to get out there and go to town digging, but you end up, 4 hours later with just one PB sandwich, and you're you're an hour and 45
Want to
or 2
hear
hours
a
away.
funny story, guys and sis? Jesse and I were at the spot here local, and all I brought with me was a bag of donuts, and I didn't eat breakfast. And let me tell you, nothing but carbohydrates on the river is not a good idea. I ended up going face first in the river like 3, 4 times right after each other, back to back. I stood up, down I went.
He couldn't stay up,
And then to top it off, I had no spare clothes.
And lost your
geez.
cigarettes. You just
Oh
bought.
yeah, my whole pack of smokes. That
Geez.
really bit the big one there. But
Oh
so now always have food, more than
yeah.
just a bag of donuts.
Oh yeah.
Carbs are
Yeah.
great, but you need something a little bit more nutrition than donuts
Oh yeah,
and
big
some
time.
spare clothes.
Yeah, me, James, and his brother Lindy, we lived off of 7-Up for I think 6 or 7 hours. That's about all we ended up bringing. I think James was a little more prepared than I was, but yeah, definitely bring more than donuts, and definitely bring more than a PB sandwich.
Dinner, man. We
True.
had a great dinner that night. You got to remember that part, though.
Yeah.
It was totally worth it. Starving, get the shake.
What's that place called, James? What's that place called? That burger place, that burger joint. Oh man, that was absolutely phenomenal. Yeah, we were starved. We weren't just hungry. We weren't just hungry. It was about 106, 107 degrees. We were cooked. We had been just completely cooked. We ended up going back in town there, and James brought me on this burger joint, and I tell you what, that burger never tasted so good.
So our buddy and friend and my bathroom buddy asks, if you guys were to have any guest on your podcast, who would it be besides Heavy Meadow Detective?
That's a great question. We've had one more pan on our podcast. Phenomenal dude, down to earth. To turn the tables around, to be honest, I'd love to get you guys on our podcast of Digging Deeper.
As long as it's not on Tuesday nights, Jaron. We're good.
No,
No
no.
Thursdays.
Thursdays,
Somebody
6
booked
p.m.
a person. Wow.
I'd have to say, you know, there's so many great people in the chat right now. I mean, I can't specifically say one specific person. I mean, you got some great, phenomenal people here. Mountaineer Michael, Jason AU Colorado. You got,
Yeah.
I mean, you got so many awesome people in
We
here.
just
Heavy
had
Metal
Byers Blue
Detective,
on.
Jefferson State Gold. I mean, I couldn't specifically put a finger. You know, I'd love to get them all on the podcast, but
Owner, I can't think of the guy's name, but the owner of Antero Mine. There's
you're talking
there would
about
be somebody,
Mount Ontario.
Matt Ontario in the mine up
Yeah.
there. I would
Oh,
like
yeah.
to get the owner of that operation on. If I was to
Yeah.
think of a dream guest, there we go.
That'd be cool. That'd be cool.
No, definitely. That would be that'd be a pretty fun podcast. But you know, I'd love to get you guys over there on the Digging Deeper podcast. Get you guys over there, maybe turn the table around a little bit to where we're sitting on the other side.
I've been trying to get Fred Hurt or even Dozer Dave on here.
Yeah, it's funny you say that. We've been working on a specific guy. I don't want to name any names until we solidify it. But you know, it's part of Dave Turn's crew. We want to get him on the podcast really bad. We've been talking back and forth. Those guys are busy, you know,
Yeah.
even on their off season.
They're out. We had KC on our show.
Casey Morgan and Taylor. Oh shoot, what's his name? Chris Taylor.
Oh yeah, Chris.
Yeah. Chris.
Yeah, we that'd be another guy to get on the show for sure.
Also, we've had Ryan Cordoza. It started off as a YouTuber, followed his dreams to Alaska, and he was on a season of Gold Rush Whitewater.
Is he on this season?
No.
Oh.
I think he got sick of the drama bullshit of TV. Beep!
Beep!
No, believe it or not, I think our second or third podcast that we did for Digging Deeper, somehow I was able to get Steve Rydell on the podcast.
Right.
And wow, that was just something else. I mean,
that was
just
fun, man. Steve was a fun guy.
What a night and day difference. You know, he's just, if you were to think of someone in your life that stands out more than anybody else in your life, Steve Rydell is that guy.
Well said, my friend.
We were talking aliens, we were talking hypersonic drive, we were talking all sorts of crazy stuff, and I didn't know
with Steve Rydell, I believe it.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
But we
also
know that he's not really like what he is on the show.
Exactly.
No,
that's the great part. The show, that's a character.
He's a wholesome guy.
Even his daughter. When I met Emily Rydell at the Gold Show, she ended up being different than what I expected from what I saw from Bering Sea Gold.
Oh yeah, that's exactly what I was saying with Steve Rydell. Like, you know, we have all watched the shows with Steve Rydell and how he was treated, and when we did the podcast, of course, it was my first, second, or third one in. I didn't really know what to expect. I kind of just said, you know what, let's run with it and see what happens. But he's a wholesome guy, down to earth. You know, he knows what his worth is. You know, he knows not to be disrespected in certain aspects. And, you know, he takes things with a grain of salt. And so, you know, we really got to know who Steve Rydell is, aside from the show. We'd really like to get Emily on. That would be a lot of fun, I think. She's just
she's hard to nail down.
Yeah.
Hey, look who just came in. What's up, Ron? And ECP. in the house.
I'm not
tonight.
even gonna try the
Oh, come on, Ed. Do
Maiden.
it, Ed.
My voice still. It's been like a year.
Whisper.
I want to know something funny, Jesse, guys. I actually was looking at my phone for a recording of Run, Run for the Hills earlier before the show, and I can't find it. And I can't find the cord to get power to my external hard drive where I know it's at.
Ron for the Hills Mining is the guy we were talking about earlier that has the
Yes.
Creek Critter
And the
River
River Raider. They're
My favorite
great
sluice
boxes.
Street sluices.
They're great sluice boxes.
Yep.
That's awesome. That is absolutely awesome. Well, it's good to have you in the chat there, Ron. They've talked nothing but positive and amazing things about the products you have. I'm actually pretty curious now.
You know, like you know me, I have like everything that I could want, but I don't have a damn river sluice.
You got too much, James. You got too much.
I know.
Dude, this guy has every invention known to mankind from top to bottom, left to right. This guy has his own trailer that he pulls. I mean, this guy, and I'll tell you what, I'll be honest. It's actually very nice because we'll need like a spade, or we'll need a certain shovel, and he's like, got it. He'll go off into the bush, come back. He'll come back. He's like, got it. I'm like, all right, man, that works.
Ed will go. We'll go. Hey, Ed, let's go do some river sluicing, right? All right. He gets out there. He's got his dredge. He's got his high banker.
Got a truckload.
He's got a
works.
truckload.
He's got a truckload.
That's okay.
You wouldn't believe what I can stick in the back of a Toyota Tacoma. All right?
Oh yeah.
This guy.
Oh yeah, we can.
This guy. Yeah.
I call it contingencies.
Exactly. I do not want to get caught in that situation needing something that I looked at on my shop floor and then said, no, I'm not going to need that, right? And then I'm up there, I'm 120 miles from home. When I'm up in Libby, that's 120 miles one way from my house. So there's no going, hey, let's go down to Big Arm and grab whatever. Or go down into Libby and buy whatever, because that's even worse, you know. On the claim, every extra $1 for more gas for the dredge.
Yeah.
So
this guy whips out. This guy whips out this or whips out this and connects this and does this, and I'm like, bro, what are you doing? And he's like, well, you know, I got to do this and that, and so I just let him do his thing, and he hooks up his crazy contraption.
That sounds like that time at JJ Land, guys. Put my dredge in my mini max. Use both of them to get the job done.
I turned the Hankoop HB14 that Jaron gave to me into 2-inch dredge high banker combo unit. So I can either dredge with it in the river, go up on a bench, fill in the bench with water, pull out from there, or just shovel dirt in and run it as a high banker. That led me to a keen 4-inch that we're really gonna see how much dirt we can make that thing push this summer.
Nice. That eats some up.
Yeah, man. Move some dirt.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should have a lot of fun once we contact the rest of the folks in their areas when we go on the road trip. Hopefully, we can bring that with and have some fun with that. You know, the biggest thing is you know, we'll be camping at a lot of spots, but some spots we just won't be able to. We'll have to stay at a hotel or motel or whatever it may be. So, you know, I'm going to get a cab for the back of the truck. That way all of our stuff is locked up and safe as much as it possibly can be. But, yeah, we're looking to have one heck of a season coming up. I mean, my goodness. You know, you get all this stuff built up, and it's like, well, now it's time to make it happen and go out and have fun. So it should be a lot of fun. We'll see what happens.
You guys will have a blast.
Thank you.
Blast.
Thank you very much.
Enjoy.
We're looking forward to it.
Yeah, it should be a blast.
And then it's like, we get home, June's over, and that's peak season for where we are. I mean, Jaron and I have, well, for the prospecting buddy community period, we've found a claim in Montana. We got a cut trail into it, have a place for people to sit down, picnic, whatnot. So we got that to work on as well. So, it's not just the trip, there's the claim on the side, and then wherever Jaron wants to do some gold mining of his own. I know last year he wasn't able to hit his spot in Washington once. He was constantly over helping me. So, it's like between all that, we're going to get it done somehow and then end up on the East Coast. So.
Well,
Oh, yeah.
I know in our conversations in Messenger, Jaron, before you came on, you were talking about western wet side of the state and meeting some people. Shoot, we have 3 or 4 of them right here in our chat room. Otis
No, that's
Ferris
awesome.
is from the wet side. Mountaineer Michael, he's from Spokane area. But then you have Secret Creek Prospecting, who's from the wet side.
That's
Um,
awesome.
I see
Yeah,
that right there.
that's the thing with the road trip. We're calling it Meet the Family because, I really want to explore the western side of Washington. Like we were talking about earlier, a lot of the guys have specific ways of doing things on the western side that I really want to dive deep into and kind of see how they do things over in their neck of the woods. So this road trip is going to be a lot about meeting folks, learning, just all around have a heck of a good time. So I didn't know some of the guys in here actually on the wet side of Washington. That's awesome. I'm still learning as I go, even with the PB family. I'm learning specific things with where people live, how many years they've been doing it, what works best for them.
Well, I think
So
that's a good reason you added that website.
yeah, so
It opens that up more.
yeah, so when we first started PB, we tossed around an idea of a contact list, right? So, at the end of the day, a lot of people are hard-headed in a positive way, and they don't like bringing people to their own spot, and they go up prospecting and whatever else by themselves. PB is about meeting people and getting together. The gold's the bonus, right? So
yeah.
Yeah.
we created a contact list that actually worked decently well the first go around. And we decided to switch things up and get a professional website where people can log on. They got their own state that they can join. And then, obviously the folks in that state talk amongst themselves to plan their own trips to go out digging with each other. So I thought that was a good idea. Obviously it's still in the works. I don't have all the states up and whatnot, but so far it's working well. We've had a lot of people join and talk amongst themselves and what their plans are for the spring and summer. So, as long as we continue to add the rest of the states for the contact list, I think a lot of people will be able to meet up with each other and hopefully go out and dig with each other. So I think that'll be a lot of fun. So,
Well, I just find it very strange on prospectingbuddy.com. I just dropped the link in there, guys. If you want to head over there and sign up on their newsletter and sign up for the state groups, you'll find me in Ohio. I should sign up for Washington too. It's funny, Jaron. I didn't know you were in Ohio also.
Yeah. So that's funny you say that. As with everything, we don't have specific people looking out for the contact list per state, right? So I have to, until we grow a little bit further, I have to be in each state group. That way, things stay positive. Men will be men. men will be men. Let's just say that, so I have to make sure that, I'm in each and every group until we can find specific people that can watch over that contact list. Arrow, he'll eventually take over the Washington list, James take over the Montana list, so on and so forth. But it's still in its early stages, and so I have to
Oh,
try to keep
I hear you. I
best I
know. I
can.
was just poking at you a little.
Sounds like you need some more ladies in your group.
I'll
I
get
do. I
Head
definitely
over
do.
to prospectingbuddy.com.
That's what I've been telling him. I've already been telling him that for the last 8 months now. I'm like, where are the ladies, man? I'm like,
Yeah.
you can't look like we're an all-guy exclusive thing. It doesn't work.
Hey,
Yes.
Mayhem Prospecting says that the link's
Yeah,
not working.
I'll get the
No,
right
so
one.
yeah, so I posted the new link. The old link used to be www.prospectingbuddy.com. I wasn't.
.org. Okay.
Yeah, so
.org.
originally it used to be .com, and like I was saying earlier, we tried our hand with that whole situation. It didn't work out really well. So I sat down back at the drawing board, sat in front of these two screens for hours and hours and hours, and decided to do a whole new refreshed website with more tabs, more options. So yeah, it's www.prospectingbuddy.org. Go check it out. See what we got going over there.
Now, I know it's late in the game tonight. Let me find you on here. Do me a favor, Jaron. Drop another comment in the room.
Yeah, you got it.
And I'll christen you with a wrench.
Oh no!
Not another
You got
moderator.
stuck with a wrench.
No, but like I said earlier, what we're doing over there, we're just trying to get people connected with each other. At the end of the day, we've had first responders, we've had people that do search and rescue. We've had a lot of different people reach out and say,
firefighters.
Yeah, we had a lot of people reach out and say, hey, what you're doing is awesome, because you're getting people together to go out as a team or as a group, or instead of by themselves. Of course, you're always going to have those folks that go out by themselves, and that's perfectly fine. But the more that we can get folks together, at the end of the day, is the main goal.
Always have a buddy.
Exactly. Exactly. So,
So we've been on here now for 2.5 hours, guys.
Oh, you guys took
Good
us
show. It's been a good
half
show,
hour
yeah.
into overtime.
Hey!
And time flies when you're having
The
fun.
chat room is loving it. They're appreciating
We
the show.
appreciate the chat room and everybody
Yep,
watching.
absolutely.
Hi, Lindy.
Thank you.
Welcome.
No, we definitely appreciate everybody in the chat room right now. Tomorrow I'm definitely going to be jumping over to your guys' pages and following what you guys got going on. Some of the folks in here I do follow and watch a lot of your guys' content, and keep it up. You guys are doing phenomenal work. The more we can bring to the front line, the better at the end of the day. So I appreciate all you guys jumping on here.
One of the few places where we're not so divided.
Yeah.
Agreed. Here.
Gold. I've always said gold or the treasure hunting, things like that is where, I don't want to know how you voted.
Hang on a second.
We're hanging out. Let's share a good time and not worry about that stuff, man.
Absolutely.
I need to respond to Ron here.
Yeah, I just did. I asked him, are you donating?
Yeah, I was just gonna ask him on air. They're really embarrassing. Donated a creek critter? I love my creek critter.
I really love my creek critter too. It's a great tool.
I don't know. Is Ron still making stuff? Ron, you still building?
Ron, but I'll tell you this right now. I'm sorry at last Flash Bash I didn't get a video of the creek critter being given away. To be honest, I took all my gear and it never left my trailer. Took
It
all
didn't.
my
In
day.
fact, last Splash Bash, hardly anybody took any videos.
Nobody. It was too much fun, you guys. It was too much fun.
Yep.
Well, it's nice. A bunch of YouTubers get together, and I think like JP and Benzo were about the only ones that produced
Oh.
anything.
Everybody better just get their GoPro, put it on their chest,
There you go.
Right.
hit record, and edit
Walk
it later.
around, edit
Yeah,
Yeah,
later.
let
use
it roll,
10,000
man.
batteries. Yeah.
Pumping in batteries all day
About
long and let it
50
Right,
roll. Pull that
SD
thing out,
cards.
stick another one in, and go.
Right, right.
That's what Jaron's there for. He's my editing guy anyway. So
20 hours worth of video for 15 minutes worth of.
Yep.
Yep.
You know what I love so much about live streaming, Jaron? There is no editing.
Exactly.
Amen to that. I learned. It's funny you say that because the first 3 or 4 podcasts I sat in here and was editing, and I said, "The heck with this! Like, I'm not." So we just started going full blown live. You know, no editing, no nothing, just live to YouTube, live to Facebook, and it's so much nicer. So much nicer.
It'll
Oh,
take you
okay.
2 days
That's
to
nice.
upload it to YouTube.
Oh,
Yeah.
hey, Ed,
Yeah.
where's that video? Where's that video from? Let's see. Let me think. How far back can I go?
Oh God. You,
Hey, it's an editing.
it's an editing.
Yeah.
I have so much in my editor, it's pathetic. But
Hey, Jaron,
I do edit the show. I trim the fat, and I make it an audio format and put it up on Spotify. So if you ever want to just listen to the show while you're driving or at work or whatever, you can
That's
find
pretty
us
cool.
on
That's a great idea.
Spotify and Anchor, and like 5 other podcast sites I can't remember. But
That's an
on
absolutely that's an absolutely great idea. The problem that I'm having is I already have too much on the plate, so I'm gonna have to wait a little bit. I'm gonna have to wait a
Yeah.
little bit to be able to do that.
Somebody's gonna make me do.
now
Or
on,
that,
you,
yes.
on
Brad
YouTube,
will take it on, buddy.
on
Yeah.
No
YouTube,
problem.
I don't go in and trim off like my countdown, pre-show countdown, because then I lose the whole live chat. So I
Right.
put in a timer mark, uh, jump ahead of the pre-stream countdown, and they can click on that and jump ahead that 10 minutes of music, hillbilly music playing.
Yeah, we're still experimenting with the way we do our podcasts. We typically have the 5-minute countdown, 5 minutes before 6.
You
we
also use StreamYard, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You can
so
use StreamYard, which works great.
it's a little costly, but at the end of the day, it takes care of a lot of the headaches. You know, at the time, YouTube wouldn't let us go live, and so I didn't really have other options. So StreamYard works really well. Just like any podcast software, it has its limits, but you know, so far it's been working well. We've been sticking to the same intro, you know, and the outro and stuff like that. So I see what you guys got going on over here. This is absolutely phenomenal with the YouTube screen. You have all the decals displayed and everything, and I give you props because I don't know how to do that.
It's
My daughter
taken a
can
lot
show
of
you.
trial and error, and an old dog trying to learn new tricks with this encoder. Now, I'd love to use StreamYard, but I've worked so hard learning this stuff, and I have a look now, or a branding to the show, right?
Mhm.
Tell
Yeah,
me if
yeah.
it makes sense to you. And I figured if I just use StreamYard, it's not how I've made the show look like now. It's gonna be totally different.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
you know, you
I
got to
would,
look at it this way. You guys have situated a specific look, even on YouTube, with how you guys do things. You know, and honestly, if I knew how to do even a quarter of what you're doing with YouTube, I'd definitely do it. But you know, I just kind of ran with something with StreamYard, and you know, it worked
Oh,
out.
I like StreamYard. I want to get to the point where I can incorporate StreamYard and still have Zoom. The problem is comes in with the audio.
Right.
I I need to use a voice meter digital soundboard, right? But I
Like an
get
equalizer, yeah.
yeah, yeah, I get too much weird interference from it for some reason, and I just haven't took the time to learn how to incorporate it because I'd love to be able to highlight um like down east detecting and prospecting, remove Ed don't need politics, or you know,
Right,
highlight someone's comment. You know, it's a
right.
great touch. I love StreamYard, and if there's people that use StreamYard here, like JP Lawns and More with JP's Bar, great show every Saturday at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. He's making a good show with StreamYard. You two are doing your show with StreamYard. You have the ability to multicast. I used to use Restream for that, and gets costly. It's another place for a glitch in the works. You
Oh yeah,
know,
no, I think what you guys got going on with the way that you guys use YouTube is to your advantage. You know how you have the screen placement displayed. You got the flash fam right there onto the left hand side. I mean, and you have live comments. The downfall with StreamYard is you can't see who's commenting, so you have to have that live up on a different screen. So it becomes a nightmare every once in a
yeah.
while. You're trying to run through comments. They're coming in so quickly. You know, it's kind of a juggling act. With YouTube here, what I'm noticing is the comments are coming in at a decent rate to where you can actually read them.
Yeah.
StreamYard, it's just the comments are gone. You know, you try to read one, it's impossible.
And if the
Um,
person that makes the comment when you're using StreamYard has not given StreamYard access to like their Facebook or whatever,
then you
then we
can't
can't
see
get their
them.
name.
Right.
All we
right,
see is StreamYard user. So it's like we can't say, hey, so and so,
Right.
and acknowledge exactly who they are. All we can go is, wow, that's a great question, and read the question. And hopefully they heard us read the question.
right.
That's the side of StreamYard that I will pick on a little bit, but I don't like letting outside apps into my phone and my technology very often either. So I get it.
Well, and it's getting late. Our chat room's leaving.
Oh, now Bill Maher said he could go for another hour. No,
It's
I'm
been a
just
good
kidding.
show. Yeah, it's a good
Yeah, it's
show.
been a
Ed.
great
Well,
Thank
show,
you.
and
hey,
time does fly when you're having a good time.
Wow.
okay,
Yeah.
Ed, I
Definitely.
was going to say, okay, Ed, well, have fun with your next hour.
No. I wake up pretty
Yeah,
early
I
in the
actually do have a
morning.
night job. It's all
Yeah,
good. I can go at any time. But
I
Everybody here except for me and Rose have jobs, so
I have
Yep, I'm one of them.
I have some post production. Dano and I wake up pretty early. Uh, I see BC Trails came in the room, or where was it? I thought I saw not small case BC Trails.
not BC Trails. BC, it was
I was there at Prospecting Buddy. I love it.
somewhere.
Oh,
I saw
well,
him too.
I can't see it now.
Welcome.
Beep.
Like Nugget Brain said, this is a family-friendly broadcast.
Well, you know, we are up past prime time, so the FCC.
The kids should be in bed. Yeah.
Yes.
The FCC has no say at this point.
BC Treasure Trails. Bah.
That's the
There it is.
Right,
Yeah,
right,
Rose.
but still, you know, my boss's son watches sometimes, and sometimes I'll have other people from work and my owner of the company watch, and they never talk. Her son does, but she never does. So spill it on
And we
chat.
see how our employee behaves away from work.
Right, right. Oh, you don't want to know that, Sarah. No, just kidding.
So today I was looking around YouTube, and I found a YouTube or a gold mining family that just started gold mining.
Oh, cool.
Yep. Where the hell is it at?
Just started, like just got their ground. They're finding where they're gonna dig the whole 9 yards, or do they have like their location picked out?
No. You don't understand. They're just learning how to mine.
Period. Oh wow.
Period.
Cool.
And taking their little kids with them and teaching them what they're learning. It was a pretty cool little video. I
That's
thought it
cool.
was interesting. I was kind of hoping that her and her husband would show up in the chat room tonight.
Well, you never know. Sometime they might hop
I'm a
in.
self-taught guy
I
until I
know.
started hanging out with Jaron, and that's when I started prospecting and mining with somebody else. I've always
Right, her
been on the loner part of it.
yeah, her channel name is Millennial Mom.
Millennial Mom. I can't forget
Millennial Mom.
Millennial Mom.
That's
Oh,
pretty cool. It was really interesting watching her learn and teach her kids at the same time.
I
You know, her husband, her other significant other, I imagine.
that rings a bell. Millennial Mom. I'll have to search that again, or search that.
She's only got
Yeah, we're getting close to 3 hour show now. We've tried an hour, we've tried longer. I think with what's that, John Bilchek from Devil's Canyon, wasn't his show almost like 4 hours, Jesse?
It was 4 hours and over.
But
It was.
he had some great stories, man.
Let's
But
see. What's the story? The new claim.
right.
There's this picture that Jaron posts a lot on Facebook, and it's been getting a lot of comments lately on Prospecting Buddy. We're in an area of Montana that's really like 60 miles away. It's out my back door. I've been fly fishing it for years, and I'd never seen this place at all. And it's called St. Joe Slide, and it's on a fault line that created Quake Lake here in Montana back in 1959. Even on a personal side note, my parents thought they were at a drive-in when the quake hit. That's how old I am. And they thought it was teenagers jumping up and down on their car. But we went up into this slide area of this mountain that basically half stood up and the other half was gone. It either fell down or slid down the mountain. And in all the places I've been, and I've been all over the country, it was the most foreign landscape I've ever been on. I mean, we're standing on rocks that are as big as high schools. You know, it's literally that big. And the mineralization you're seeing is amazing, from calcite to quartzite to
Nice.
sands, raw mantle of the earth exposed on a wall. You know, and you could see the natural seepage coming out of the rocks. And Jaron didn't get to experience this part, but you get into a part of it and it's been dripping long enough with this calcite that you're actually getting little stalactites and stalagmites forming at the base of the cliff.
Sweet.
I mean, it's an amazing area. Well, we happened to put the prospecting buddy claim right on the bottom of the slide, downstream, and then up the mineralized hill as well. So we kind of, I don't know, it's just such a really cool place. When people come there to see it, it's going to be more, to me, I think they're going to get more out of it than just looking for gold. You know, they're going to see something.
They're going to get they're going to get a heck of a workout, I'll tell you that much.
Goddamn right.
Sounds like our trip to the Motherlode, huh, guys?
Oh yeah.
Just amazing.
I learned right away how hard those guys have to work for those little nuggets they find. You know, how much work they got to do. It looks easy. It looks easy. Go down there with your metal detector, dig a little bit of dirt from the side and get these nice pickers. And no. See that? See your screen behind you, those mountains, you know, you got to climb around that stuff. Up as and stuff, and then back down. That's work.
We did find some gold when we were up there. We did locate, so we had our mineral location down. The really thing that makes me excited about it is nobody's ever touched it with a machine. There's maybe been people in there with a bucket or a shovel and a pan here or there, but it's never been like hit hard with a high banker or a dredge or somebody really wanting to get at it. So it's for claims and places to go besides the trip. That place has got me the most excited out of anywhere.
Oh yeah, it's a beautiful area. I mean, like James was saying, the sightseeing is just insane. You see a mountain and you see this thing literally cut in half by Mother Nature. You see where it had fallen over, and it just blows your mind. The funny thing is the hike up to see the half of the mountain wasn't as bad as actually coming back down. It's dangerous up there for sure. You know, but yeah, where we have the claim over there, it's a phenomenal area. You know, good place to park your vehicles. The creek is just gorgeous. We went up there when it was a little cold, so I didn't do a whole heck of a lot. Of course, James, crazy man, he's punching holes all over the place. But yeah, it's definitely a beautiful area over there. So we're looking forward to that too. Try to cram in a million things in one season. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Hey, one more pan. None of us. I haven't gone for a pee yet either.
Neither have I.
No.
Neither have I.
I go whenever I want. Yeah.
They were talking, he was talking
Getting the
about
Sprite bottle down.
But
man.
we do need to wrap it up. I have some post-production. I know James has to get ready for work. Dano has to wake up early. Jesse's lucky. And not sure about you, Jaron's, but
Oh, he'll
I'm
be
I
glad
gotta-
we-
1 in the morning on the loading dock.
I got to get up at 1:00 in the morning, be there by 1:30, and work whenever they decide to tell me to go home. So,
Well, the good thing about you, it's still fairly early.
oh yeah, it's only 8:00 over here. The rest of you guys, I know it's late for you guys.
Yeah.
It's all good. This is the later I go to work, the better. Because all I do is I go to the convenience stores through town and I stock their coolers at night.
Well, right on.
That gets me through my winter.
So Jericho and Hercules asked a question. I don't know who's going to answer this, but I'll ask it anyways. Because I have a question about geodes. Is $60 a good deal for quantity 20,
2.5 inch.
2.5 inch geodes, 20 of them for $60? I don't know.
20 at 60.
You can get geodes for pretty cheap. I would say that you could probably get geodes for $1 or $2. So I would say
No.
No.
I would say no. Yeah, I really
Actually,
would say
in a
no.
very, very
I don't know.
trendy
That's-
shop in Missoula, Montana, they go for $1.50 a pop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's not a good deal. And then they're probably going to stick the shipping on you.
I
And
was
it'll
gonna
probably be
say,
solid.
maybe if shipping was included, you might be getting there. And can you put a price factor on fun? That's another question. So, I mean, if you're
Sure.
wanting them, get them for yourself, but I'm pretty sure you could get them a lot cheaper. Like
Not
Yeah.
every,
National Geographic sells them for cheaper.
Shop
not every
around.
geode has something inside. You know, it's like not every pan has.
Oh,
Yeah,
gold.
what kind of geode too?
Exactly.
Thunder
Yeah.
egg or
Thunder eggs, what are they? Quartz rocks? What's going on?
up
Yeah.
up on my old claims and on Finney Creek in Skagit Valley, I could pick up geodes all day along with jade slicks. So
I was gonna say, depending on where you live, you might be able to. If those
Yeah,
are
you
local,
could
you can find out where you can find them yourself.
pick them yourself in Missouri. I definitely say that's overpriced, but Missouri geodes are ugly.
Pick them
Yeah.
on the Missouri Breaks and Missouri River. Geodes and agates all day long, man.
Yeah.
Especially on the
right.
French Bar.
Yeah.
The south side. If you're gonna go
So I-
hit agates
so I
on the
guess
Missouri
I-
River ever, southern bank. If you want
I
to
guess
collect gold,
your
northern bank.
There you go.
Something to tell you.
that question
Well,
really is.
Watch out for those Yogo sapphires on the northern bank. That's
When
what
we
those
go to Montana, we'll be hitting you up, James, along with our
Not a
friend
problem.
David Peterson.
I like take people on tours of the state. We'll go gold mining. We can go hunt for sapphires, agates,
You go
whatever,
outside?
fishing.
Oh.
Right
We're all in
on.
one.
I have an idea. If we let it, it could go on and on. Got Your Wish down east detecting, was it? Or was it Marsh? I think it was Bill Marsh. And it ain't gonna happen, sorry. I appreciate you guys being on. I've had a great time tonight talking
Thank you.
to some fellow Pacific Northwesterners, even though I'm misplaced at this time. But I
Well,
do have some great friends and good people here, though. Three of them are right here with us. Um, all
thank
of
you
you
very
out
much for
there.
having me on your show.
Oh, you're
I
more
really
than welcome,
appreciate
it. Our
James,
pleasure.
Jaron. Our pleasure. I hope a few of the Flash fam have gone over and inundated your group page, your channel, gone over to your website.
I'll bet you Jared and I have some moderation alerts to look at.
Well, I hope so.
I'm turning on a movie and relaxing to the movie for the rest of the night. I'll let you. I'll let Arrow, Sergio,
while
and
we're
everybody
on the
else take care of that.
Arrow, Doug, Sergio, who am I
You guys
missing?
got some work to do.
You got some work to do, man.
Derek.
So really, to answer Jericho's question is, it depends on what's in them, what you're looking for, and what are you willing to spend. You know,
Right.
some
Yeah.
might, you know, yeah,
It's like
Shipping
everything.
too. Shipping too.
What are
Yeah.
you willing to spend?
Exactly.
Well, next week we're having our friends Mike and Melissa from M&M Prospecting joining us. I've had the pleasure of being on the river with them a few times.
Yep.
Great people, great friends, brother and sisters of another mothers. All of you, Flash fam, prospecting buddies,
Definitely.
thanks for joining us tonight. It's always a pleasure spending this time with you every Tuesday. Thanks again, Jaron and James.
No, David Villa, you're the hoot.
Oh.
Well, we appreciate it, Ed. We appreciate it, Dan, ToledoJess, Rose. We appreciate being on the show. We had a blast. We definitely have to get on the show again sometime soon. Get you guys on the Digging Deeper podcast, and have some more fun. Most definitely.
Sounds great. You know how to get a hold of me. Both of you do.
Thank you very much.
You humble us, you guys.
Dude.
We try our best.
Secret
Yeah,
Creek
man.
Prospecting, thank you for the super chat, along with Down East Detecting and Prospecting. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciated. We still might have some younger kids in the crowd, Jefferson State Gold, so I don't know if I'm going to. Never mind, someone else got it. Oh, well.
that's funny.
Oh, gotta love live
it's not
entertainment.
like we're not sailors ourselves.
Oh,
Not
yeah.
like we don't talk that way, but we do have a younger audience sometimes out
Yep.
here. People come out here with their kids, so yeah.
There's times I talk like a demonic sailor, so.
I was raised by a Marine that was an English professor, so figure that out.
Oh, jeez. I don't envy that.
Made me what I am. I miss the man, Julie.
Hey, it is what it is, and everything
right.
made us what we are today.
That's right.
Now,
Huh?
okay, M&M Prospecting next week's going to be a great show. All of you, thank you very much. I hope you all had a great New Year's, and I hope all of you have an awesome year to come. And I hope I see you all here every Tuesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Buffalo Chris Prospecting, I think was the name. Hope to see you around. Thanks for joining us. Greatly appreciate it. Until next time, may you always have a flash in your pan.
You know what he's gonna say next.
A little slow on your cue, bro.
You got
Look at that Rose.
Okay, he was waiting on Rose. But
to jump in.
Maybe one day too, we'll meet you on the river. It does happen. Ask Rose, JP, Eminem, Otis Ferris, Bedrock Bennett, Todd. The list goes on and on. Until next time, God bless you. Love you all. Thank you again for joining us.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, everybody.
Stay safe and do not comply.
It does happen. That's right. Derek, thanks, brother. Buffalo Chris.
4, 3, 2.
Hope to see you around, man. Thank you, everybody.
Stay warm, guys.
You
Night,
too.
JP. Mr. Lodak, great job tonight.
As always.
As always.
Because there's a big after party. You guys go on.
Dano,
If
Bob, that you didn't send none of your balls, man.
Mr. Lodak dropped the link for the
I ran
after
one.
party. Woo-hoo.
What's this? After party?
Yeah.
They're having a Zoom meeting.
Zoom after party.
Who's putting that on?
I guess we're not rated radio.